Good afternoon mga ka-HR. A very, very pleasant afternoon talaga kasi this day, hindi lang po maganda ang panahon. It's also our first year anniversary na talaga namang lahat po tayo ay mag-i-enjoy this afternoon because we will be earning and learn from our speaker this afternoon. Pero bago po yan, syempre, I'll share my screen para po makapag-umpisa na rin tayo at malaman natin ano nga ba ang mga rules ng HR e-knowledge at HR collaboration. Oops, wait. Sorry, hindi prepared. Hindi nahanda. Oh. Yan. So general reminders lang po sa lahat ang ng ating manonood o nakikinig o kahit saan po kayo nandoon basta naka-online po kayo sa HR e-knowledge ng HR Calabarzon. Ang Zoom meeting po natin is open 1:45 PM or 15 minutes early. We would like to request na sana lahat po ay naka-video on and audio mute. Siyempre po para hindi rin po tayo makadistract sa ating speaker for the day. Lahat po ng question. Yon, kagaya po ng nasabi ko kanina, ganyan po kasi ang nangyayari. Nagkakaroon po tayo ng konting abala. Okay. So lahat po ng question, paki-chat lang po sa chat box dito po sa Zoom or sa Facebook live post or dun sa comment section. Hinihiling po namin ang inyong full attention and cooperation para syempre masulit nyo po yung buong maghapon ngayon na afternoon habit na nating mga ka-HR. Tuwing Saturday, syempre wag niyo pong kalimutan ang ating afternoon habit pag Sunday with HR Cafe. Syempre po, ang webinar na ito ay libre po. We will provide e-certificate natin ng 50% good for 4 webinars in 1 month. Okay. Ano nga ba ang HR Calabarzon? HR Calabarzon provides virtual and face-to-face learning to all HR practitioners and enthusiasts in Calabarzon, Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Rizal, and Quezon. Pero guys, mga ka-HR, hindi lang po tayo for Calabarzon. Marami na rin po tayong mga ka-HR from North Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, NCR, at maging po sa ibang bansa. Minsan nga po nagugulat kami, meron ba lang foreigner na kasama namin like last week, ang kasama po natin is from Malaysia and from Pakistan, na puro po kami nagtatagalog. Kaya po kung meron po kaming kasama na taga-ibang bansa, please message us sa chat box para po syempre makapag back to English tayo sa nose feed niya kung ika nga ng mga ibang ka-HR. Anyway, ano nga po ba ang rules natin for e-certificate? Ang HR Calabarzon Group po ay hindi po makakapag-guarantee na mabibigyan po namin kayo ng kopya ng ating presentation for the day. Dahil syempre po, ang iba pong inilalagay ng ating resource speaker ay meron pong copyright. Ang e-certificate po ay pinapadala natin through email after 7 working days, after ng today's workshop, and of course, after validating your payment through GCash and Google Form attendance. Take note po, ang form po ay ikino-close namin after 5 days. Please ensure that the Google Form or the attendance and feedback form is completely and accurately filled up. Especially po yung pangalan po natin. Kasi kung ano po yung tinype nyo po, yun po ang ilalagay namin sa e-certificate. Also, your email address, pakisure po na tama po para po hindi ito nagba-bounce back. And reference number and proof of payment. Remember po, ang links po ay pinopost po natin sa FB Live, FB page, and of course, sa Zoom chat box. Remember po also that the 50 pesos is good for 4 consecutive webinars in 1 month. If you avail today, means po yung buong buwan ng September, ay covered na po yung payment natin as long as you attend the webinar and you fill up the Google form. Bakit nga po ba kailangan ang 50 pesos? Ang 50 pesos po ay to sustain our expenses or our monthly subscription fee via postpaid Zoom. Ma'am Jorina, kamusta ka?
Ayan po, syempre okay na okay ako, Ma'am Neds. Ay, Ma'am
Excited
Neds.
ka po, ma'am?
Excited na ako kasi syempre first HRE Knowledge Anniversary natin to. So marami po kaming in-store sa inyo ng aming mga Board of Directors at Founder.
Ma'am, actually parang kagaya nung last year to eh. Medyo kung mapapansin mo kanina, ma'am, parang kabado ko. Parang bumalik ako sa first year, yung last year natin. Nagkakamali ako, hindi na kagaya ng mga nagdaang araw. Pero anyway, Ma'am Jorina, wag na nating patagalin. Nagkakamali pa ako. Remember po, ang GCash payment card number po natin ay 0927-140-1360.
Ayan, paki-screenshot na lang po para po makuha po natin ang GCash number. Ayan, sa mga naka-cellphone. So, of course, Ma'am Neds, ang dami talaga nating naka-line up ngayon, di ba?
Yes, at talagang sulit para sa lahat, ma'am, because we are accepting 500 participants via Zoom. Kaya kung ako po kayo, mga ka-friendship, mga ka-HR, please do enter the Zoom dahil marami po kaming naka-install for you. Pasensya na po sa FB Live kasi hindi kasi namin mamomonitor kung sino-sino ang nasa FB Live. That's why we encourage each and everyone na pumasok po sa Zoom since we are having 500 participants. Yes, Ma'am Jarina.
And syempre, nakikita po natin ngayon dito ang napakarami naming mga magagaling na speakers and for our today's speaker. So very excited kami. We hope that you join us for each and every week for a full learning session this month. And syempre, may surprise tayo, Ma'am Neds, which is on September 25th.
Yes, i-reveal po natin yan on September 18.
Ayan. And of course, syempre, special thanks to the following sponsors who without ay hindi magiging possible ang HR Calabarzon. Unang-una sa lahat, very excited po talaga kami sa CPHR, Certified Practitioner in Human Resources. So, very exciting po ito para sa mga members po ng HR Calabarzon. Lahat po ng members ng HR Calabarzon will get an industry partner discount of 10% when attending a CPHR OLC assembly. So we are very excited po para dyan. And of course, sa consumer goods trading, laundry products, housekeeping and industrial cleaning and sanitary solutions, and alcohol tissue, meron po sila. So kung may mga kailangan po kayo, sa kanila lamang po. And syempre, sa AMD Collections, Fashion Boutique, Talisay, Batangas, established in 2020, and Confetti Corner. And of course, sa Jorina's Home Depot, where you can get your appliances and furniture, located in Greengate Homes, Imus, Cavite. And of course, sa Sabon Factory, dekalidad na, presyong pangmasa na. Complete cleaning chemicals for household and industrial use. And syempre, from our founder, si Miss Nedy Estrella, St. Peter Life Plan and Chapels, naway bawat pamilya may St. Peter Life Plan na. So please contact Miss Nedy Estrella. Ayan, and of course, from our founder, magbibigay po siya ng 20% discount for 1 year sa lahat ng HR Calabarzon members natin. So, very exciting po. And of course, thank you very much to Bricks Power. We provide outsourcing services in the field of IT, human resources, accounting, and payroll. And of course, sa Caparal Appliances and Furniture, we make your home complete. We also customize in-house financing, credit card, and cash available. Branches in Cavite are Silang, Salitran, Langkaan, General Trias, Paliparan, Kadiwa, and Alfonso. And syempre sa Grupo Vino Incorporated, established in 2012 for their medical supplies. Puntahan nyo lang po sila, kompleto po sila ng medical supplies. And of course, from one of our earliest sponsors, PC Works, Infinite Possibilities. So, ayan po ang contact details. Kung kailangan nyo po ng mga computers or peripherals, sila po ang i-contact nyo. At syempre, ang PC Works, many thanks po kasi sila po ang mag-sponsor ng paraffle natin na Bluetooth speaker. So, sino kaya ang magiging lucky winner nito? And of course, thank you very much to Rossi for sponsoring coconut water. So magsa-sponsor po sila ng coconut water na i-giveaway po namin mamaya. And of course, thank you very much to Tang Bertos, Authentic Pinoy Fried Chicken. Magpo-provide po sila ng gift certificate and we will be announcing that soon. Ayan, so marami po talaga tayong mga sponsorships and mga raffles and incoming prizes. And of course, meron tayong mga books from our mentor and speaker, Mr. Michael Angelo Chua. Ready to serve. And syempre, sa The Cleaning Genie by MILP Cleaning Services, magkakaroon po lahat ng members ng HR Calabarzon ng 500 pesos discount for every cleaning service worth 3,000 pesos. So wow, alam niyo na kung saan kayo magpapalinis, di ba? And of course, from us, from HR Calabarzon, from the board of directors, from the founder and the co-founder, kami po ay magsa-sponsor ng one lucky winner ng 3 months membership every session namin for this month. So, excited po talaga tayo.
But ma'am, wait, meron na tayong lucky winner for this month. Whole month, libre siya.
Oo, whole
Ba
month
natin
libre
sino,
siya.
ma'am?
Sino? Sino yan?
Si Ma'am Sharon po ang ating una at hanggang ngayon ay patuloy na sumusubaybay at nakiki-HR sa atin sa HR Calabarzon. Congratulations, Ma'am Sharon!
Congratulations!
Ma'am, before that, check lang natin, nandito na ba ang ating isa sa special guest this afternoon? Ma'am, nandito na ba siya?
Check natin. Wala pa.
Okay. So ma'am, last week, last week ang dami talagang natuto at natuwa sa lahat ng learnings and experience na ipinakilala sa atin ng ating previous speaker mentor. At syempre natuwa rin sila sa mga libre nilang libro at matutuwa ang lahat na nag-avail at nag-attendance last week dahil may matatanggap silang ebook from our speaker last week. This year po, i-remind lang natin Ma'am Zurina, if you recall, actually dapat nga nandito si Sir Arvin because Sir Arvin is with me last year dahil parang nag-payroll mo ata last year itong cut-off na kaya medyo wala ka nun. Pero last year, siya talaga yung first speaker na pumasok sa isip ko. Itong ating speaker yan. Kasi isa siya sa mentor ko pagdating sa compensation and benefits. Talagang minahal ko yung compensation and benefits because of her. To the point na 15 years na akong HR. Pero pag may question ako, nag-chat talaga ako sa kanya. At talagang sinasagot niya yung lahat ng question ko. Kaya very overwhelmed ako and sobrang tuwang-tuwa ako this month, actually parang July yata nung lumapit ako sa kanya, Ma'am, pwede ba kitang ma-invite ulit na maging speaker? At hindi tayo nagkamali at hindi tayo nagdalawang salita sa kanya, Ma'am Jurina, because she says yes for HR Calabarzon, especially for our first year anniversary. So Ma'am, wag na nating patagalin. Okay lang ba sa'yo?
Siyempre, excited na rin ako marinig ang speak ni Ma'am Rhona. So let's introduce our speaker, Ms. Rhona Florentino has been an HR practitioner for around 19 years now. She is currently the president and CEO of Uprush Social Geekers, an HR solutions and services provider located in the heart of Makati. She has held such position as Associate Director for HR at CSS Corp ICT Services and HR and Administrative Director for Gameloft Philippines, where she has spearheaded such programs as the Gamification Framework and the Digital 201. A graduate of Bachelor of Science of Psychology from the Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila, Ms. Rhona has been quite active in improving the standards of HR in the country. Through such programs as Uprush HR Bootcamp, the said program provides the necessary competencies for up-and-coming HR practitioners who would like to become professionals someday. Ms. Rhona Florentino is also known to be the top 100 influential Filipino women to follow on LinkedIn. So, ayan po ang kanyang LinkedIn. Ayan
LinkedIn.
na po. Please
Please
connect with her
follow.
and follow. Yan.
Yan.
Introducing Miss Rhona Florentino.
Hi, ma'am. Good
Yan.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ako, natuwa naman ako sa inyong introduction. Parang nakakataba ng puso, sobra-sobra. Pero bago po ako magsimula, syempre, hindi to po pwedeng palagpasin. Alam ko na napaka-espesyal ng araw na ito dahil una sa lahat, anniversary po ng HR Calabarzon. Naalala ko pa last year talagang, alam mo yun, ang kasagsagan ng pandemic at yung ating mga community quarantine, talaga naman po sila Jorina, sila Ned, sila Arvin, talagang nag-aayos sila paano ba kami makakapag-provide ng something of value sa ating HR community. Talagang ang galing nila sa pagpaplano and I was very, very happy to be part of that when they were just starting out with this e-knowledge. Kaya talaga naman nung sinabi nila na first year anniversary na, naku, hindi ko to po pwedeng pakawalan. At syempre pa, isa pa po, gusto ko lang pong batiin na isa sa aking, nagsimula siya as volunteer sa Philippines HR Group. Pag-stars ngayon talaga ang layo na nang narating niya. Natutuwa ako. So happy birthday, Miss Nedy Estrella. Nakakatuwa ang nakikita ko na growth mo as an HR professional. And alam mo naman yan na anytime you need help, kahit anong oras pa yan, message mo lang ako, sasagutin kita. Walang second thought, walang pagdududa, walang kahit na ano pa man. Sasagutin kita. Kasi alam ko naman din yung effort na binibigay mo for the HR community. Ayan po. So, happy birthday. I wish you all the best in the world. I wish you whatever is your heart's desires. And I wish that you stay safe, you enjoy the rest of the day, you enjoy the rest of the year. Ayan. So happy birthday po natin siya kalimutang batiin dahil napaka-special po ng tao.
Thank you, my HR Calabarzon fam. Thank you po.
Oh, Diyos ko. Ang effort na ina-extend nila Nets, nila Jorina, nila Arvin, wala lang si Arvin dito. Talaga naman po napakalaki ng tulong na ibigay nila. Hindi lang dito sa HR Calabarzon, even before we had this pandemic, even before yung mga online na webinars, they have been very, very active in the HR community as part of the core group ng volunteers for Philippines HR Group. At hindi makakasurvive ang Philippines HR Group ng aming mga ginagawang mga mga webinars, seminars noon, hindi yun maaayos kung wala ang tulong nila Nets at ng iba pang mga volunteers natin. Ayan po. So, pwede na po ba ako mag-share? Yes. Share tayo. At i-share ang aking slides. Okay. So, medyo challenging yung topic na binigay sa akin at napagkasunduan namin ni Neds na magiging topic of our today. It's all about the new normal and the new outlook. Kasi naisip namin na 1 year na ang nakakaraan. Ano na nga ba nangyari sa ating mga HR professionals? Ano na mga naging changes? So let's have a review, a recap of what happened for the past 1 year, 1.5 years actually. Ano na nga ba nangyari sa ating mga HR professionals? 1.5 years na po mula noong magkaroon tayo ng issue or mula noong magkaroon tayo ng community quarantine, mula noong ma-declare ang COVID as a pandemic. And the 1.5 years as HR, ang dami nating na-realize, not just about ourselves, but about our profession. And I think one of the, siguro matatawag nating positive thing about the current pandemic is that it highlighted to everyone the importance of HR. And that's one thing that we really have to keep in mind right now, that HR is a very important partner in an organization. And the pandemic has highlighted that for everyone, not just for HR professionals, but everyone who's working with HR professionals. Ang tanong ko ngayon sa inyo, and you can use our group chat for this. Ang tanong ko sa inyo, 1.5 years na ang nakalipas. Ano ang nagbago sa inyo? Sige nga, tignan natin. Gamitin po natin ang ating group chat. Ano po ang nagbago sa inyo bilang HR professional, or ano po ang nagbago sa organization nyo pagdating sa HR? Sige nga po, let's use our group chat and let me know ano po ba yung mga changes na meron right now. I think we have about 280 participants right now, so I'm hoping to get a lot of answers. Sige po, gamitin natin ang ating group chat, share. Ayan. Sabi ni Sir John Patrick, learn to adapt and interact using all the resources available. That's very good actually. If there's one thing that we learned during the pandemic is that we really need to be creative, we need to be flexible, and we need to do a lot of research. Ayan, results-oriented na sila, sabi ni Florina Santiago, and Gail Ann mentioned that I became creative and was able to adapt in the situation. Si Mir na sabi, dumami ang work assignment, lalo na sa part ng medical na under ng HR. Adoption of flexible work setup. So I think right now, may mga companies, marami pa rin companies na naka-work from home. There are companies who allow their employees to report to the office. But given that we are still in MECQ, limited lang ang pwede niyong papasukan sa inyong opisina. Safety and health policies to include handling IATF policies. Online meetings, correct? Natuto tayo bigla ng Zoom. Natuto tayo bigla ng paggamit ng Microsoft Teams, ng biglang hindi na natin kilala si Skype. Meron pa bang gumagamit ng Skype? So Microsoft Teams, we have Zoom, we have yung mga nagwe-webinars, we also have StreamYard, we have a lot of these platforms that Google Meet. Yes, correct, Sharon. Si Sharon is actually, nung narinig ko kanina na Sharon won yung free membership, na tuwa ako because Sharon is very, very active when it comes to webinars. You deserve winning that, Sharon. Palagi ko nakikita yan with Uprash webinars, Philippines HR Group webinars, and even HR Calabarzon webinars. Palagi ko nakikita. So that's good. Flexible work, learning and development through online. So yan yung mga natutunan natin because of the pandemic. Biglang alam na natin itong mga platforms na to. Kilala na natin sila. Dati hindi natin sila masyadong nagagamit. If ever, Zoom lang kilala natin. But right now, itong mga platforms na to, nagiging part na sila ng buhay natin. So much so that sometimes, if ever we do have meetings, ang tanong na kagad natin, will you be sending the link or will I be giving you the link? Yun ang usapan ngayon. Okay? So, doon sa 1.5 years na ito, ano nga ba ang mga nangyari? Ano ba yung mga naging changes? Yan, skeletal setup, work from home was adopted. Yan, isa yan sa unang-unang in-adapt natin, yung work from home. When the pandemic started, ang mga questions natin palagi, syempre bago ito sa ating pandinig, bago yung pandemic, bago itong lahat tayo biglang, lockdown ang buong Pilipinas. Bago sa atin ito. So mga usual questions natin before, last year, has to do with safety policies and programs. What are the safety policies and programs that we need to have in place? Meron tayong IATF guidelines, meron mga joint memorandum na nilabas si Dole to guide us on how we're going to go about safety policies and programs. This highlighted the importance of knowing the occupational safety and health standards. So if kayo po ay hindi pa po kayo aware na dapat ay meron kayong safety officer, dapat alam niyo na po ngayon yan na meron kayong safety officer, dapat aware kayo ng kung ano yung inaalaw ni IATF each time na magbabago ng classification from ECQ to MECQ, ilan ba dapat ang pwede namin papasukan sa opisina, dapat aware na kayo at this point. Isa pa sa mga naging question is, how do we shift to a work from home setup? Paano ba namin gagawin ito? Hindi kami sanay. Okay, so along the way, biglang, dami yan, palagi yan sa Philippines HR Group, ang dami nagpo-post. Paano kami mag-work from home setup? Paano yung laptop? Paano yung internet? Paano pag bigla na lang nag-resign? Paano pag nag-award? Paano namin babawiin? And slowly, we got to realize na, ay, may way pala. So natuto tayo ng kung paano magkaroon ng mga accountability forms, natuto tayo kung paano asset management, natuto tayo kung paano natin gagawin in case mag-awol sila, in case na hindi na sila bumalik sa opisina, paano natin babawiin yung assets. Natuto tayong gumawa ng policies and procedures to ensure that the company, the organization is protected. And then we also asked ourselves, paano naman pagdating sa engagement? How are we going to keep our employees engaged? How do we ensure na kahit na nasa kanya-kanyang bahay sila, nandun pa rin yung motivation nila, mataas pa rin ang level of motivation, willing pa rin sila na magtrabaho, committed pa rin sila sa company, at gagawin pa rin nila yung kanilang trabaho. So questions about what are your activities, kanina lang kaka-approve ko lang na ilang mga posts na sa Philippines HR Group asking for activities that you do para ma-make sure na yung engagement na inyong mga work from home employees ay hindi nawawala. So we became more interested about engagement. We realized that engagement is very important if we would like to retain these employees. And then of course we ask ourselves, if we have new employees, how do we onboard them? How do we do the orientation? So natuto tayo ng paggamit ng iba-ibang technologies, natuto tayo ng hindi lang basta gagamit ka ng Zoom, gagamit ka ng Microsoft Teams. You also got to realize na, uy, meron nga palang SharePoint si Microsoft. Meron nga palang Google Docs, may Google Sheets, merong Google Drive, may Google Classroom na pwede natin gamitin in order to conduct all of these orientations, all of this onboarding, kahit na magkakaiba tayo ng pinagtatrabahuhan, working from home, you're in Bulacan, I'm in Cavite, kahit na magkakalayo tayo, alam natin kung paano natin siya i-handle. And lastly, we got to realize, how should we let go of the employees? Sabi nga ni Neds kanina and ni Jarina, the last session or one of the most popular sessions in HR Calabarzon was the one about labor relations. And until now, it's still one of the most popular topics among HR communities. Kaya sa Philippines HR Group yan, or even in Uprush, whenever we do webinars on labor relations, ang dami niyan palaging umaattend. Because right now, we are starting to realize na naku, hindi po pwede na basta lang alam natin kung paano mag-issue ng mga papeles, but we also need to make sure that we know the principles behind all of this. Why do we need to do the due process? What is due process? What is substantive due process? What are those things? Dapat naiintindihan natin yan. So yung mga HR ngayon, even without their bosses paying for their training, they're trying to find ways on how they get to understand all of these topics when it comes to labor relations. Naintindihan ngayon natin na, uy, may authorized causes, may just causes. Uy, iba pala ang back pay kaya final pay. Uy, meron palang tinatawag na substantive due process at procedural due process. Hindi pala dahil sa nag-NTE at nag-NOD ako, okay na kami. Dapat pala may substance din yung aming kaso. Ano pala, pag retrenchment, ito pala ang computation ng kanilang separation pay. Pag redundancy, ito pala ang computation ng kanilang separation pay. Natutunan natin lahat yon. And some of you learned that even without having to go through seminars. You just have to log into Philippines HR Group, to HR Calabarzon, ask your fellow HR professionals, and you get the answers that you need. You can go online, you can go through online copies of the labor code, and you already have the answers that you need. And all of this happened because the situation forced it to happen. Kaya natuto tayo doon. Kaso, ito ang problema. After learning all of that, we seem to have hit a dead end. Why do I say that we seem to have hit a dead end? If you're a member of Philippines HR Group, one of the posts na medyo naging controversial last few days is someone posting na, bakit ba lahat ng mga posts or karamihan ng mga posts dito sa Philippines HR Group, and it goes for HR Calabarzon as well, bakit karamihan ng mga posts has to do with administrative side. Paano mag-process, paano mag-compute, paano ang deduction, paano ang due process, paano ang NTE, paano ang NOT. These are all administrative tasks. Bakit? Bakit doon nakafocus ang HR? Okay? Most of you mentioned that yung current situation natin, actually, yung changes na nangyari doon is you were able to adapt to work from home, you have a flexible work, etc., etc. Okay, you have limited mobility dahil kayo merong mga online protocols, natuto kayo ng online meetings. But I haven't heard anyone say that the pandemic actually allowed us to change our structure. The pandemic allowed us to be more than just the administrative side of HR. Okay? Because right from the start, HR here in the Philippines has been an administrative function. Agree? Buhay pa ba kayo? Okay? Lahat yan, administrative function. You start, sabihin natin psych graduate ka, and I'm basing this on my experience. Start ako as I was a psych graduate, so I started in recruitment. Bakit? Kasi sa recruitment, test administration. And when you do test administration, move ka, habang tumatagal, you do test administration, you do interviews, you create interview reports or feedback report about your applicants, and then tapos na. Okay? Your boss hands you kung ano ba yung manpower request form, ilan ang kailangan, anong requirements, yun lang. Okay? Basically, you're not involved, lalo na pag HR staff ka, you're not involved in the manpower planning. You are not involved in checking out ilan na bang kailangan namin tao. You're not involved in that. Okay? As you go through your career, pwede kang mag-move. And sometimes, HR would move from recruitment, you would move to learning and development. Okay? Bakit? Kasi si recruitment, ang susunod na part siya yung onboarding, which involves your orientation, which now gives you the skills para ikaw ay matuto ng training. Okay? So you do training. How do you do training? One way is your boss will teach you how to do training needs analysis. But, okay, at aminin natin ito, your boss will often be busy. So hindi kanya tuturuan paano gawin yung training needs analysis. It's either there's already a process in place, or you look online, search online, you listen to what other people say, and you use that as the basis for your training needs analysis. You're not sure if it's correct, what you're doing is correct, or kung tama ba yung pagkakaintindi mo about training needs analysis. So you do that. Okay? Again, administrative. Not much analysis involved. You just have this questionnaire that you send out, anong gusto niyo matutunan, anong hindi niyo pa natututunan, anong mga trainings na undergo niyo na before, and then you use that to determine ano ba yung mga trainings na kailangan ng mga empleyado. That's it. Now, sometimes after learning and development, you grow in your career and you go into compensation and benefits or labor relations. Compensation and benefits, heavy on administrative yan. Administrative tasks. Bakit? Payroll processing, timekeeping, performance appraisal, all of these are administrative tasks. You have a set policy, you have a set procedure, you follow that, end of discussion. Even with labor relations, you have a code of conduct, you have a procedure in place, your disciplinary action process, you do that, you follow that, end of discussion. Diba? So, yes, comp and ben is twin of labor relations. Totoo yan. Pag compensation and benefits ka, most likely, ang shift mo sa susunod ay labor relations, or from labor relations, you shift to compensation and benefits. Magkakambal yan palagi. Kasi si compensation and benefits ay maraming involved dyan ng mga labor laws. So, pagkatapos nun, you follow all of these processes, procedures, tapos ka na. When you're good at what you do, you get promoted. Okay? Or if there is an increase in the number of headcount, you get promoted. Usually, if there's an increase in the number of headcount, you get promoted. Other than that, more often than not, HR people get stuck. Agree? Nag-start ka sa HR assistant, nakita mo lahat ng hinire mo, nagtaasa na ikaw HR assistant pa rin. Bakit? Wala pang need. Wala tayong budget. So tayo, being the good employees that we are, we say, okay, maunahin na natin ibang empleyado. We do that. We are like that. And most HR professionals I know are like that. Sige, unahin natin yung ibang mga employees. Basta tumataas yung mga ibang employees, okay na ako. Hindi pa ako kailangan i-promote, okay pa. We do that. Now, what happens now is, we've hit a dead end. Bakit paano po naging dead end yun? Pwede pa naman ako matuto. True, pwede ka pang matuto, pwede mo pang ma-memorize yung labor code, at pag nagkaroon ng changes sa labor code, pwede mo ulit memorizein, at pag nagkaroon ng bagong wage order, pwede mo memorizein. Pero dead end. What do I mean by dead end? Wala ka nang nade-develop ng skills. That's the story of each and every HR professional. Okay? The pandemic is actually the best time. Okay? This is actually the best time for you to make the changes. Pero, bakit tayo hindi makagawa ng changes? Because we don't know where to start. Ito na kasi yung dinatnan ko, ito na kasi yung ginagawa namin dati. We don't know where to start. Chances are, your HR structure looks like this. Okay, maaari iba yung mga pangalan because this is from the US. So makikita nyo meron dyan FMLA. Wala tayong FMLA here in the Philippines. But we do have the labor code, we do have due process, we do have those things that you need to adhere to. Most likely, your HR team would be divided into compensation and benefits, recruitment, labor relations, employee engagement, etc., etc. Or kung talagang tagtipid ang company, most likely you would have an HR manager and an HR assistant who happens to be a generalist, or an HR officer who will do everything. Okay? Ganyan tayo palagi. Pero alam niyo ba na actually, lalo na sa panahon ngayon, sa pandemic, one of the things that pandemic has shown us is that it's not working. Having HR divided into these different silos is no longer working. Even HR doing all of those tasks, lalo hindi mag-work yun. Naku, yung boss ko po kasi ayaw makinig sa akin na hindi ko na po kaya trabaho. Okay? Iisa-isahin natin yan. Right now, what HR needs to be is encompassed in these 9 dimensions of effective HR department. Kanino po nanggaling ito? Actually, nanggaling po ito doon na po mismo sa tatay ng modern HR, si David Ulrich. This model was created by Dave Ulrich, along with Joe Grachowski. Okay, this actual image, sumobra ako ng bilis. This actual image was actually created by the People Space. Okay, so kailangan ko lang banggitin kasi baka akalain niyo kung gumawa nito, hindi po akong gumawa niyan. Kinuha ko lang po sa kanila. But this is basically what HR should be right now. In the Philippines, this is not HR. In the Philippines, HR is just administrative, strategic, dalawa lang. But in reality, HR has to be all of these 9 things. So isa-isahin natin. How does your employees define HR? Ano ang description? How do your employees describe you or your team as an HR? Sige nga, tingnan nga natin po sa group chat. Ano po ang description sa inyo ngayon ng inyong mga empleyado? Anong sinasabi nila tungkol sa HR? Anong pagkakaintindi nila sa inyong department? Tingnan nga natin. Sige po, strict but with empathy. Good. Okay? What about the rest po? Ano ang pagkaka-describe sa inyo? Paano kayo dinidescribe ng inyong mga empleyado? Okay? From their point of view, not from your point of view. Payroll po. Yes. Diba? Ang tingin lang sa atin payroll. Actually, sumbungan ng employees. Yan. Sa approach ngayon, meron kaming contest na pinapatakbo na bingo card. And you would see there a lot of things that most likely you can relate to. Okay? Tagapagmana ng company daw po. Yes, management soldiers. Sasabihin pa na ibang empleyado, kala mo naman siya may-ari, HR lang naman siya. Yan. Diba? May mga ganyan yan. You're seen as a support group. Organized and approachable. Good for you. Okay? You're seen as a support group. You're seen as, hoy, HR ka, dapat sinusuportahan mo kami bilang empleyado. Okay? Hoy, HR ka, bakit hindi mo mabago yung ating sweldo? Bakit hindi mo maitaas? Yan. Yes, correct. Counselor, may papasok sa'yo, ma'am, broken hearted po ako. Nag-break po kasi kami. So, kinain na yung oras mo kasi kailangan mo pang kausapin. Or, ma'am, yung anak ko may sakit. Kailangan ko pong umutang, kailangan ko pong bumali. Wala po bang increase? Ayan. May isang rant community na ang pangit na sinasabi nila sa mga HR practitioners. Yes. That actually happens. We always get a lot of flack. And huwag kayo mag-alala. Huwag kayo mag-alala. It's not something that's specific to the Philippines. HR has always been seen as the enemy, regardless of where you are in the world. We are always seen like that. So hindi tayo nag-iisa. Marami tayo. We have counterparts in the US, in Europe, in other parts of Asia, where HR is also seen as the enemy. Okay? Sabi ng employees namin, untouchables daw kami. True. Heart of the company. Other employees thought that we are their enemy. True. 7-Eleven, sounding board. Correct. Okay, we have that. Okay, we have that. Why do we have that reputation? Okay. And this is not for everyone. This is not something that lahat kayo dapat yung problemahin ito. But one of the reasons why we do yaya of the company, one of the reasons why we have a not so good reputation is because tayo rin mismo may problema. Okay? Not lahat, but most of us may problema. What do I mean? Okay. We are on the 18th batch of HR bootcamp. 18th batch. Now, syempre, for uprush, that's a good thing. Ba, kumikita kami, 18th batch. Okay? But, this is actually a red flag. Okay? And when I say 18th batch, this is not a batch of 5 to 10 people. This is a batch of at the very least, 40 attendees. Why do I say that this is a red flag? Red flag, kumikita kayo. Set that aside. Why is this a red flag? It is a red flag because 18 batches of at least 50 people. Okay? Gamitan natin ang calculator kasi sa totoo lang po hindi ako magaling sa math. Okay? 18 batches of at least 50 people. That means 900 HR professionals. At the least, you have to take into consideration that up to batch 12, we are averaging 100 attendees. So from batch 13 to 18, that's 5 batches, 50. So that's 250. And then from batch 1 to batch 12, that's 100 attendees. That's 1,200 plus you have your 250, more or less 1,500. 1,500 HR professionals who lack, okay, or are not aware. Okay? They either lack or are not aware or have forgotten the very basics of HR. Okay? That's one of the reasons why we have a bad reputation. I'm not saying everyone, but 1,500 HR professionals is too much. Pwede ko sabihin na, okay, wala pa kailan, at least kumikita aprush. Pwede ko sabihin yun. But that's not a good thing. Okay? Especially in provinces. Correct. Especially in provinces. Why? Okay? There are a lot of factors. It's not something that's internal lang. Sometimes, company is not willing. Sometimes, it's also the government institutions. And lagi ko to sinasabi, pag nagkukondak ako ng basics of payroll processing, isa sa mga pangit sa atin right now, yung pwedeng pasimplehin, ginugulo. If you would look at the 2020 Handbook on Statutory Monetary Benefits, look at the different combinations of holiday pay, premium pay, overtime pay. There are about 20 to 25 different combinations. But in reality, you only have to remember 5 numbers para makapag-complete kayo. Okay? Because we have a very complicated system, and because sometimes we have a boss that do not support us, and because sometimes we have grown to be dependent on others, our reputation suffers. It doesn't help that one of the ugali ng mga Pilipino ay we have this what we call in psychology as learned helplessness. Right? We learn to be helpless. We try to depend on others. We try to seek out the person next to us instead of really analyzing things. Okay? So that's one reason why our reputation suffers. You would notice that in some of the comments, di ba, tinanong ko kayo, what's your reputation like? Some of you, you unify the department, you're the heart of the company, you're organized, you're approachable, etc., etc. Because at one point you were able to do something that broke all of that went against all of those na nakasanayan na, that HR is helpless, that we are support group, that we are not familiar with the labor code. That person, that department was able to do something beyond that. Okay? So that's one of the reasons why we have bad reputation. At anong kailangan natin gawin dito? We have to strive to really level ourselves up. And we'll get to that later. Okay. Next question. Alam nyo ba kung ano ang deliverables nyo? Tingnan nga natin. Sige, tingnan natin sa ating group chat. Alam nyo ba kung ano ang deliverables nyo? Ano ang expected sa inyo as HR professionals? Okay. Masimplihan natin yung tanong kasi baka isa-isahin nyo sa akin lahat ng reports na kailangan nyo i-deliver. So let's make it simple. What is your business? What is the objective of your business for this year? Sabihin nyo nga sa akin, what is the objective of your business for this year? Tingnan natin kung alam nyo. Okay, sino nakakaalam ng kung anong inyong business goals for this year or business objectives for this year? Business, I'm not talking about HR objectives. I am talking about business objectives. What is your business? What is your company's goals for this year? Okay? Break-even sales, expansion. Okay, let's put it into, let's try to keep it more, let's have it more defined. Okay? When you say break-even sales, what's break-even sales for you? When you say expansion, by how much? When you say sustain, what are you going to sustain? When you say hit the target, what's the target? Sige nga. Okay? Ano yung specific? Let's be specific with what the business's objective is. Ano yung specific na objective? When you say increase sales, by how much? Achieve the target of 350 million sales this year. Okay, that's good. That's good list. More than 600,000 sales per month. Good, Lolita. Okay, what about the rest? Specific. Okay, you have to be very, very specific. Now, why am I asking you to be specific when it comes to business objectives? More than a handful of HR professionals do not know the business objectives. More than a handful. Okay? So far, I am seeing 3 people who are able to be specific. Hit 89 million sales target of the company. Okay. Eh, hindi naman po ako sales HR po ako. Correct. But here's the thing. Okay? More clients to hit the 200 number of heads in 2 years. 200 number of heads in where? The whole company? Why do you need 200 number of heads? Why am I posing these questions to you? Hindi ko po kayo inaaway na. Akalain yung parang kinakawawa po kami ng speaker ngayon. Hindi. Why am I posing these questions to you? Why am I asking you with questions that always start with why? Right? Because one thing that you have to keep in mind is that we need to be analytical now. Hindi na po pwedeng administrative pa rin tayo. And for us to be analytical, we need to know the objectives of the company. Okay, why do you need to know the objectives of the company? You are known as support group not because you support other departments, but because you are one of those who support the objectives of the company. If, for example, you want to hit 89 million sales target, you have to translate that into your own objective for HR. Okay? Ang objective po namin is mag-hire ng tao para ma-hit namin yung target na headcount. Sino nagbigay ng target na headcount? Okay? One question that you have to ask. Were you there? Were you included in the manpower planning? Kasi dapat nandun ka. Because you cannot deliver anything if you don't know where the company is heading. What's required of the company. Okay? Main target nila is makapag-open ulit and makarecover dahil ang hospitality and tourism industry po ay struggling. Yes, they are struggling very, very badly. Okay? Kawawa ang hospitality and tourism industry right now. But as HR, okay, how do you now help the organization adapt to that, to the situation. Okay? Hindi kami po pwedeng hindi kami po pwedeng mag-open pa. Okay? Kailangan namin magbawas ng tao. Okay. That's still a deliverable. How do you now ensure that the company can sustain the number of headcounts? And sometimes one of our problems is that we do not like making the hard decisions. What do I mean by we do not like making the hard decisions? As an HR practitioner and professional, one of your deliverables is guiding the management kung time to let go or time to retain. Ang sakit naman po nun, baka po pwedeng i-retain. Okay, sige, try mo i-retain. But up to what point? Yan, kailangan nyo isipin yan. Kung ang kinakailangan ay mag-reduce ng manpower to get the business going, why not? You have to make that decision. Which now also includes and very much related doon sa ating susunod na circle, which is HR strategy. Okay? HR design is also one of the dimensions of an effective HR department. The processes, the roles, the structures. Kayo ba ay may proseso sa HR? Kayo ba ay may procedure? Ang proseso nyo at ang procedures nyo at ang policies nyo, how often do you have that updated? I have been with one company na ang kanilang maternity benefit ay hindi pa updated. Hopefully, sa mga sandali to, sana naman ay updated na sila. Pero when I was there, it was still at 60 and 78. Okay? So kailangan aware din kayo dyan. How do you design or what's the design of your HR like? Paano ang structure nyo? Okay? Ang problema po kasi namin, may structure naman po kami pero dinudumog po palagi kami ng mga empleyado lalo na pag payroll. Okay. Again, why? Okay. Always ask yourself why. Bakit nga ba kami dinudumog? And what can we do about it? Dinudumog kasi kami kasi palaging may mali, may discrepancy, may dispute pagdating kay payroll. Saan ang gagaling ang dispute? Or dinudumog kasi hindi nila naiintindihan paano ang computation. Okay? Hindi na naiintindihan. Bakit hindi nila naiintindihan? Do we need to have orientation, regular orientation to let them know kung paano ang computation ng payroll? Or, another way, baka naman po pwede natin separate natin yung mga taong kumakausap doon sa taong nagpe-payroll talaga para hindi siya nai-istorbo, dire-diretso ang processing niya. Diba? Pwede yan. Of course, HR and organization capability is also another dimension in an effective HR department. Now, what do I mean by HR and organization capability? Mamaya pag-uusapan natin yan. Kalma lang muna tayo, guys. Okay? So, yung mga iba dyan, parang, okay, parang ang bigat naman ng topic natin ngayon. Yes, mabigat po talaga ang topic natin ngayon. Pag administrative kasi, madali lang ang topic. It's a popular topic, mga administrative, how to do payroll, how to do things. Ang dali niyan. Pero iyon ay isa nating problema. Okay? When the topic is too complex, too complicated, ayoko niyan. Boring yung training na yan, boring yung topic na yan. HR analytics is another boring topic. Okay? What do you do with the data that you have? Okay? HR practices is connected with your HR design. HR work style is connected with your own HR culture. And HR professionals, mamaya, meron na ako i-discuss sa inyo kung bakit hindi umuunlad ang HR sa Pilipinas. But these are the 9 dimensions of an effective HR department. Okay? If I will be their HR, I will look for alternative activities for those people who were in skeleton forces. Yes, you can look for alternatives. Sabi ko nga palagi, there's always one way to skin the cat. It all depends on what do you intend to do. Okay, what is the end goal that you have? And then from there, you can decide which of these options that you have is the best answer to your situation. Now, one of the things that is a problem for most HR professionals is that there is a tendency to shy away from tools and technology. Many of us are still afraid of tools and technologies 1.5 years after the pandemic has started. Okay, many of us would still want to do payroll manually. Mahal po kasi yung mga payroll na na software. Yes, mahal yung kilala nyo. But have you taken a look at those platforms that are actually free? Okay? Ito, and this is true story. Makikita nyo rin ito sa website ng Sprout. I am not promoting Sprout. I am not part of Sprout, but Sprout is one of the known names when it comes to payroll platform. Sprout actually offered their payroll service for free during the start of the pandemic. Imagine, payroll software. And when I say payroll software, Sprout's payroll platform is very comprehensive. How comprehensive? You just need to enter ilang dates absent, ilan ng overtime, and the platform will do everything else for you. The payslip, the reports that needs to be generated, kung ikaw ay naka-Union Bank, Security Bank, BPI, they will even give you the form or the file that you need to upload para makapag-disburse ka. They also have the ability, or it allows also you the ability to create certificates of payment, record the payments that you have done, and all of this. Okay, all of this that's included in their payroll platform, and they were providing that for free. That was during the start of the community quarantine, for free. Now, if you have coordinated with Sprout in the past, ang mahal ng kanilang platform, because yung buong platform, yung HRIS plus the payroll, it involves a lot of other modules. So meron sila for recruitment, meron sila for crystal reports and things like that. They have that. Kaya medyo mahal siya. But the payroll platform itself, which is the core of their business, they provided that for free in 2017. What happened? They decided to stop it. They decided to stop it even before 2020 was through. Okay? And the free platform was a lifetime free ito. I know because we are still using their free payroll platform. It's lifetime free. Now, why did they stop providing that for free? Bakit nila ni-stop yun? There were no sign-ups. And those who signed up, more than half were not using the platform. Imagine that. You already have this platform that's free, that's very comprehensive. And you were not using that because we are afraid. We are not afraid of the platform itself, but we are afraid that it will take time pa bago matutunan. It will take time to set it up. It will take time to do all of this. May tao naman ako, kaya naman yan. May Excel file naman ako, kaya naman yan. What if I don't understand all of this? There were a lot of fear na itong libre na sana. They stopped providing it because not many people were using it. If they had 100 sign-ups, only 25 were using it. 75 they signed up pero they did not use it. Sayang, di ba? Because we are too afraid of tools and technology. Zoom. Okay, we have Zoom, we have Microsoft Teams, we have Google Meet, we have all of this. But when you process applicants, ano pa rin ang ginagawa? Kung interview, we call them up. When we could have easily set aside a day to send a calendar invite, send the link, dito tayo mag-usap. Why? Sanay na ako na tinatawagan ko lang. Okay na ako dito. Okay? Mas gusto pa rin face-to-face, correct. Some people would still want to do it face-to-face. Why? Hindi ko kasi nakikita yung body language. True, but hindi ba't mas maganda na yung Zoom kesa naman doon sa gugustuhin mo yung mag-face-to-face ka? Where there is a higher likelihood na mahahawa ka pa in case lang na hindi mo alam na yung palang kaharap mo ay asymptomatic pero may COVID pala. Ha? And those are the problems that we have. Eto na ako sanay na ako dito. Okay? Kaya ayoko na. And we have to get over that fear. Another fear that we have is data analytics. Ayoko niyan, panay numbers. Okay? Ayoko niyan, ang daming computation, ayoko niyan. The thing is, data analytics is not about computation. Okay? Data analytics is not about that. Okay? Let me show you an example. Sino sa inyo nakakaintindi nito? Taas ang kamay. Okay, sinong nakakaintindi nito? Nitong nakasulat ngayon dito. Sige nga, tingnan natin. Gamitin ang group chat. Naintindihan niyo po ba? Without using Google, ha? Sasakalin ko kayo pag nag-Google kayo. Okay. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Nitong formula na to? Okay. Anong ginagawa nitong formula na to? Tingnan nga natin. Sabi ni Erica, Pythagorean theorem. Okay. What about the rest? Area. Okay. Sides of triangle. Okay. Ayan. Marami-rami ang sumasagot. Pythagorean. Sumakit ang ulo ng isa. This is actually the formula for finding hypotenuse. Okay, which is related to the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, a squared plus b squared equals c squared is actually the Pythagorean theorem, but this is the formula when you're trying to find the hypotenuse. Okay. Bakit sumakit ang ulo ng iba? So sabi diba side of the angles. Okay. Hypotenuse, not necessarily side of the angle, but the hypotenuse, yes, and the slope. Okay. Bakit sumakit ang ulo ng iba? Simply because this is something foreign to us. You might have come across this during geometry nung kayo ay high school, but right now it's foreign to us. Pero look at this. This one, ay alam ko yan. Meron kami yan. Ginagawa namin yan. Okay? Because this one is, you are more familiar with this. Because this one, you use this on a regular basis. You might even have this programmed in your Excel. Okay? And that is what data analytics is all about. You don't go looking for the hypotenuse. You don't go looking for the angle. You don't do that. You don't need to memorize. Okay? The formula for hypotenuse, the formula for finding out speed, velocity, mass, you're not looking for those things. Okay? Data analytics is all about analyzing information, data, okay, that is important to you. Okay? So, ang tanong ko ngayon sa inyo, ayan, ano ang attrition rate nyo last year? Sige nga, tingnan natin. Ano ang attrition rate nyo last year? Tingnan natin. Sino nakakaalam? Okay. At let's make it more specific. Ano ang attrition nyo last year among probationary employees? Okay. So among probationary employees, among those with 1-year tenure, among those with 3-year tenure, and among those with 5-year tenure. Ano ang attrition rate nyo for those? At ano ang average tenure ng inyong employees? Yung iba nag-open. Sandali lang po, o-open ko lang po yung Excel file ko, hindi ko po memorize. Okay? Okay lang na hindi mo memorize, pero dapat meron kang idea, at least the average. Okay? At least a range ng kung saan nagpo-fall. Because this is one of the metrics that's very important to us. Ano pong kinalaman nito sa HR analytics? Metrics is part of analytics. All of the information that you get out of your metrics, you have to analyze that. And that is one of the problems that we have right now. Okay? We have these numbers. We don't know what to do with the numbers. If I ask you what's your attrition like when it comes to probationary employees, ay meron po kaming 5% attrition rate among probationary employees. What does that tell you? 5% po ang nawawala. Beyond that, what does that tell you? That is one of the reasons why ang HR ay hindi siniseryoso, because we have this data but we don't know what to do with the data. Okay? We are seeing, ang dami po naming attrition. Ay, makapunta nga sa Facebook post ko. Ano pong ginagawa niyo pag mataas ang attrition niyo? Ano pong engagement programs ang pwede namin gawin kasi ang taas ng attrition namin? In the first place, ano ba ang sinasabi ng attrition rate ninyo? Ano ba ang sinasabi ng exit interview ninyo? Ano bang nakalagay doon? Okay? You don't have to ask all HR professionals. Okay? You ask first your employees. You ask first your data. You look first at your data, the data that you have, before you ask other people. Because the data that you have, the employees that you have, will already give you the answer that you need. Palagi ko itong sinasabi, and you would notice kung naka-attend na kayo ng mga previous webinars ng Uprush, and even in Philippines HR Group, minsan-minsan lang ako sumasagot doon. Pero usually sasabihin ko sa inyo, ask your employees. Check with your employees. Check your data. Kasi nandun na yung sagot na kailangan nyo. So, what do we do now as an HR professional? Kung sinasabi mong dead end na at hindi na namin nagagawa kung ano yung dapat namin gawin, anong gagawin ko ngayon as an HR professional? You have to level up. Wala po akong time. You have all the time in the world. Ang dami ko pong work. Again, you have all the time in the world. Okay? First things first. Lalo na sa mga HR managers na nandyan. Tanong ko sa inyo, what is your requirements for hiring an entry-level HR? Sige nga. Ano requirements nyo? Entry-level. Okay? Most of more often than not, whenever I ask that question, people would tell me, graduate ng psychology, graduate ng business, graduate ng HR, at least 1 year experience in ganito, 1 year experience in ganyan. Okay? Usually, yun ang sinasagot natin. Very, very few actually focus on people who are good with analyzing things, people who are good with research, people who are creative. We don't normally look for that. Okay? More often than not, we are very, very keen on dapat graduate ng psychology, dapat graduate ng HR, dapat graduate ng business-related courses. Pero pag tinanong ko, and I do this a lot with our clients whenever I do job analysis for them, I always ask them, bakit? Bakit mo kailangan ng psychology graduate? Bakit mo kailangan ng HR graduate? Bakit mo kailangan ng business-related graduate? Business-related course graduate? And they cannot answer. Okay? Sometimes they would say, ay kasi may test administration. Okay. And then afterwards, what happens? Okay? So you also need to level up on the kind of applicants that you are entertaining. Does this make sense for our organization? Do I have the time to develop this person? Do we have trainings available for this person to grow into the position? Do we have time to grow this person to the position? Instead of looking at the courses, look for the actual skills. Okay? Yes, correct. Okay? Sometimes they need to focus on the academic practice. True. If, for example, you're applying for the academy, of course, there is a requirement for academic qualifications. But if, for example, you're working for a private organization, why are we still looking for the college graduates of psychology? What if, for example, you have someone who is not a college graduate, has experience, and is very good when it comes to analysis, when it comes to problem identification, when it comes to all of this? What do you do then? Okay? Knowledge on accounting and taxation, correct. Diyos ko po. We don't look at those. Kukuha tayo ng fresh graduate for a compensation and benefits staff. Tapos magtataka tayo, ba't di siya marunong mag-compute? Wala kasi yan sa curriculum. Walang nagtuturo sa curriculum na, ganito po ang SSS, ganito PhilHealth, ganito pag-ibig. So we have to level up. Entry level, pero years of experience pang supervisory. We also need to be very, very careful with that. Isa rin niya sa tinatanong ko. Sasabihin, entry level, we need 2 years of experience. Why? Why do you need 2 years of experience? Kailangan kasi kabisado niya ang SSS, PhilHealth, pag-ibig. Hindi mo naman kailangan ng 2 years para doon. Kailangan mo lang ng either meron ng prior experience, 6 months will do, or someone who's very, very good at learning things. Okay? So analyze, and that's one of the things that you need to develop within yourself. You need to know how to analyze things. You want to have a seat at the table ng mga CEO, you need to be very, very careful in how you analyze things. Hindi po pwedeng oo lang ng oo. Sabi kasi ni Boss. Okay? Willingness to learn, correct. Okay? Experience is advantage in entry-level position. Ito pa po. Okay? Ang nakakaloka po yung job posting, copy-paste pa. Correct. Actually, ilang beses ko na napapansin yan. Experience is advantage in an entry-level position. It is an advantage depending on the position. Depending on the position yan palagi. Okay? Bakit po ako mag-hire ng walang experience kung ito naman may experience na? You also have to ask yourself, anong uri ng experience meron siya? Okay? Is it an experience within the same environment? Kasi kung ibang experience niya, wala rin mangyayari. Evaluated experience, correct. Okay? Ang daming hugot ni Erica. Okay lang yan, Eka, walang problema. Okay? So you also have to do that. Okay? So if you need to level up yourself, what do you need to do? When was the last time you invested in yourself? Nasa pandemic pa rin tayo. Now is the best time to invest in yourself. This is one investment. Your weekly webinars with HR Calabarzon is an investment. Your weekly webinars in Philippines HR Group during HR Cafe, that's an investment. Any training that you undergo, that's also an investment. But you also need to have work-life balance. Ang hirap po, ma'am, ang dami kong trabaho, paano ko mag-work-life balance? Bakit ka maraming trabaho? Ask yourself that first. Bakit nga ba ang dami kong ginagawa? Okay? Why do I always ask people that? Kasi po, not saying that everyone is like this, but most of us have this attitude na tawag natin na Messiah complex. Hindi niya magagawa ng tama, ako na nga lang. Iuulitin ko na naman yan, ako na nga lang. Kawawa naman yung staff ko, pagod na, ako na nga lang. Mahilig tayo sa, sige, ako na lang. Okay? That is not a good way to go about it, my dear HR professionals. Delegate. Okay? We need work-life balance because if you do not have work-life balance, you will not be productive. You are not Darna. You are not Superman. You are not Wonder Woman at kung sino pa mang characters yan. Okay? Take rivalry as a challenge for us to level up. Correct. Maganda yan. Okay? Important po the employee has teachable attitude. Correct. Which now means recruitment people. Isa yan dapat sa tinitingnan nyo. Build your competency library na kagad. Ano ba yung dapat meron kami across all positions? Ano yung core competencies na meron kami? Empower your staff. Correct. Huwag kayong matatakot. Bakit mo sinasalo lahat ng work? Ano ka si Darna? True. Actually, that also happened to me. I have one of my boss, not necessarily na pagkakasabi niya, pero sabi niya sa akin, kasi nag-e-encode ako. May ini-encode ako for our HMO enrollment. And my boss wanted me to do something. He wanted to bounce off ideas. Pero hindi ako, sabi ko sa kanya na, sorry boss, I don't have the time right now. Let's talk about it later. So sabi ng boss ko, why? Why is it that you don't have time right now? What are you doing right now? So sa kanya, I'm encoding the list, encoding and checking, double checking the list for the HMO enrollment, the renewal of our HMO. Why? So sabi ko, because my team is already doing so much, I need to do this. Sabi niya sa akin, I am not paying you X amount of pesos just so you can do something that should be done with someone earning X amount of pesos. You are making me lose business. Sinabi niya sa akin yun. Na napaisip ako, oo nga naman. Kung ako ang business owner, would I be paying someone X amount of pesos para lang mag-encode? Hindi. Kasi gastos yun. I'll get someone na mas mababa ang presyo per hour who can do the encoding instead of someone na ang taas ng charge per hour, kumbaga. Tapos siya mag-encode. That made me realize and made me see things from a different perspective. Put yourself in the shoes of the business owner. Would you be willing to pay someone, let's say, 250 pesos per hour versus someone na 67 pesos per hour lang? Okay. Alin doon ang ang mas okay sa'yo if you would want something done, something as simple as encoding? Diba? Kung encoding lang to, edi doon ako sa 67 pesos per hour kesa doon sa 250 pesos per hour. Mas mahal yun. Okay? If I have a more complicated task, then ibabato ko kay 250 pesos per hour kasi sure naman ako na dahil ito si 250 pesos has more or has higher skill level, mas kaya niya yun. If I give it to someone earning 67 pesos, malamang papaulit ko rin kay 250 pesos. So, dodoble gastos ko. Think of it that way. Always think of the value you are bringing to the business. Correct, Matilda? Okay? So, ganun palagi. So, napaisip ako doon. Tapos, nakita rin niya na, bakit ba palagi kang pagod? Eh, kasi boss, ang dami kong ginagawa, Bakit ka madaming ginagawa? Delegate mo. I am paying you to strategize, to analyze, to do problem solving. Why are you doing administrative tasks? Delegate it to somebody else. So, delegate. Sabi ko, kasi boss, nahihirapan ako kasi pag ganitong oras, night shift ako, so kailangan kong habulin. Adjust your schedule. Okay? Here's the thing. Sometimes what's limiting us is ourselves because we have this preconceived notion. Dapat 8 to 5 nandito ko. Dapat 8 hours ang trabaho ko. Dapat matapos ko ito. Okay? But we forget, how do I do this in the most cost-efficient manner using the less possible time? Okay? Smart worker versus hard worker. And you, as an HR practitioner, you need to have work-life balance. Bakit? How are you going to pour from yourself if you are an empty cup? Para din yung pag-ibig. Paano ka makaka-attract ng pag-ibig kung ikaw hindi mo mahal yung sarili mo? Paano ka magmamahal ng ibang tao kung hindi mo alam kung ano sabihin ng pagmamahal? So, paano ka magiging work-life balance enthusiast, work-life balance champion, kung ikaw din mismo, ang trabaho mo ay 24 hours? Okay? So, isipin nyo din yun. You need to have work-life balance. Tinanong ko siya kahit ang dami naming workload. Ayoko kasi tumandak sa office. Marami na nga tayong workload, magpapaka-stress ka pa. Magpapaka-stress na ba tayo? Kung pwede naman tumawat, maging masaya sa office habang nagtatrabaho, why not? Correct. We have also this preconceived notion that HR should be hindi ganun ka-approachable. And I know a lot of people are like this. Lalo na yung mga medyo matanda na sa HR. Dapat hindi tayo nakikipagbiruan. Dapat tayo ay palaging seryoso. Hindi po. You want to know the latest happenings in your employee's life? Sit down with them during lunch. Talk to the manong guard. Si manong guard, ang daming alam niyang chismis. Talk to employees. Okay? Kahit hindi nila sabihin sa iyo kung anong problema nila, you will have an idea. Okay? Be approachable. Kasi po, they take advantage. Pag sinabi ko naman kung be approachable, hindi po ibig sabihin nun, super chummy-chums na kayo at talaga naman buong buhay mo kinuwento mo na. Hindi po. Just be approachable. Smile. Hindi kailangan na palagi tayong para bang pinagbagsakan ng langit at lupa. Okay? Always be approachable so that the employees will not have a hard time telling you what's bothering them. And when you know what's bothering them, you know what you need to work on. Okay? Huwag din magagalit. Yes, dapat may boundaries pa rin. Huwag din kayong magagalit. And this is one of the things that you have to understand. Pag ang empleyado ay reklamador, ano tayo allergic tayo dyan. Pakareklamo, pakanega, yung sa empleyado niyan. Wag po kayong ganun. Bakit? An employee who complains is still an engaged employee. Paano po nag-i-engage yun ang dami niyang reklamo? Kasi nakikita niya na may kailangan i-improve. Nagsasalita pa siya. Nagko-comment pa siya, nagre-react pa siya. May gusto siyang mangyari. So nandun pa din siya. Engaged pa rin siya. Mas matakot kayo sa hindi na nagsasalita. Bakit? Ang hindi na nagsasalita, disengaged na yan. Makahanap lang akong nilipatan, alis ako dito. Yan. Kaya hindi na yan nagsasalita. Or nag-i-interview na pala yan, hindi niyo pa alam. Okay? So always do that. Meron po kasi akong RBF. Ano yung RBF? Resting bitch face. Okay, kung alam mo, meron kang resting bitch face, pag kaharap mo ang tao at lumapit sa'yo at alam mo na may resting bitch face ka, pagkatingin mo sa kanila, try to smile. Okay? Smile ka na agad kasi alam mo meron kang resting bitch face. Ako po ay merong resting bitch face. Ilang beses na po ako nasabihan na mukha po ako mataray. So I try as much as possible to always smile, crack a joke, kahit na corny, para lang mag-gets nila na, uy, mukha ko lang yan, pero sa totoo, corny po talaga akong tao. Okay? And of course, Pushback. Ang daming pinapagawa ni boss, hindi ko na alam kung anong gagawin ko. Pushback. Boss, hindi ko na to kaya. Okay? Speak up. Nakakatakot po kasi yung boss ko eh. Tell them what you can and cannot do. Your boss is not a mind reader. Di ba kayo din, pag may staff kayo, gusto niyo yung staff niyo, sabihan kayo kung kaya pa or hindi. Same goes for you. Sabihan niyo yung boss niyo kung kaya pa or hindi. I-terminate mo yan. Ayoko ng pagmumukha niyan. Pangit. Ano pong gagawin ko? Mawawalan po ako ng trabaho. Girls and boys of HR, you are also protected by the labor code. If your boss will terminate you just because you do not want to follow an order that you think is not legal, okay? Yan po ay covered po yan. Illegal dismissal po yan. Pag kayo po ay dinismiss dahil hindi kayo sumunod dahil mali yung kanyang order. Illegal dismissal po yan. Okay? Ang hirap pong humanap ng trabaho ngayon. True, mahirap humanap ng trabaho, but trabaho or integrity. Okay? And I have so many times in the past resigned because of issues like that. You want me to do something that I don't want to do. I am sorry, I have to go. Okay? Swimming na sa workload, never-ending, task cost-cutting pa si company. Sit down with your boss and tell them that cost-cutting too much is not a good way to go. Look for other options. Anong other options? And this is one of the things that some of us forget. You can always outsource. You can always outsource. I think some professionals, HR professionals right now are actually realizing that kasi we've been getting a lot of inquiries na pwede bang i-outsource na yung payroll kasi pala nagda-downsize si HR, so aalisin na si HR person. So may mga ganun. Okay? Coach the boss. True. Coach your boss. Always coach your boss. Boss ko po siya, di ba dapat siya yung nagko-coach sa akin? No, coaching goes both ways. Okay? Managing goes both ways. You manage your boss manages you. How do you manage your boss? Huwag kang oo ng oo. Kasi ang boss, pag nasanay na oo ka ng oo, i-assume niya na oo ka pa rin in the future. So, manage them. Especially if you're psych graduates, pinag-aralan natin yan. Yung modeling, diba? Yung behavior modifications, pinag-aralan natin yan. So, dapat alam niyo yan. If you want your boss to leave you alone, okay, anong pwede mong gawin? Train mo siya na pag importante, tsaka lang siya lalapit sa'yo. Okay, how do you do that? Boss, is this important? Okay, pag tinanong ka, meeting tayo, boss, what's the agenda? I am asking because I still have a lot of things to do, but if this is something that's urgent, I can leave all of this muna para makapag-meeting tayo. If it's not urgent, then if you can tell me the agenda or the things that you want to know, I can provide you with the report so that we don't have to do a meeting. You can do that. Pwede mong sabihin yun. Hindi dahil sa HR staff lang po kasi ako, HR assistant lang po kasi ako, HR officer lang po kasi ako. Hindi. HR ka. Generally, HR oversees all of the positions within the organization. Kaya nga pagdating sa job evaluation at job scoring, mataas ang score palagi ng HR, kahit assistant pa lang. Bakit? Kasi you manage all of this, including your boss. Okay? So, train them. Okay? Get them to see things from your point of view. And you can only do that when you push back. Okay? So, paano po yung pag nawalan po ako ng trabaho? Which brings me to my next point. Develop hobbies. Diba sabi natin kayo na work-life balance? Ngayon ang pinakamagandang panahon para sa work-life balance. Ngayon ang pinakamagandang panahon para mag-develop ng hobby. Okay. Kailangan pa po magtrabaho. Kung ikaw po ay nagtatrabaho sa bahay, hindi ka po nakikita ng boss mo. So po pwede kang kumain habang nagtatrabaho, manood ng TV habang nagtatrabaho, mag-cross-stitch habang nagtatrabaho, magpakaplantita habang nagtatrabaho. Okay? Because at the end of the day, it's all about productivity na. It's no longer a discussion of 8 hours ka dapat nagtatrabaho. No. Unless, of course, if your position is time-bound, like for example, yung mga agents, kasi binabayaran sila per hour. But other than that, hindi ka nakikita ng boss mo. Ang ini-expect lang niya sa'yo ay deliverables. Deliver it while doing things that you love. Why do you need these hobbies? These hobbies will open up other opportunities for you. Mawalan ka man ng trabaho, alam mo na meron kang fallback. Okay? Now, yes, recharging to gain more energy. True. Sa totoo lang, ako ang dami-dami kong natutunan ngayong pandemic. Natuto ako that I tried to be a plantita, the plants die. So, scratch na agad si plantita, alam natin na wala akong green thumb. Okay? So, wala akong magagawa sa pagiging plantita. So, I decided to try painting. I started paint by the numbers, kaya lang ngayon medyo wala pa ako sa mood to continue it. So, I set it aside muna. Right now, what's keeping me busy is learning Spanish. I'm trying to learn Spanish. And I'm also trying to learn Feng Shui. Okay? For some reason, naaliw ako sa Feng Shui. I think there's some science that goes with it. So yun yung pinag-aaralan ko. Feng Shui, Chinese metaphysics. I'm also doing, I'm studying Spanish lessons. I'm taking it every Sunday. I am, yeah, good. If you're studying Hangul, that's good for you. Hindi ko lang siya talaga maintindihan pa right now. Hindi po ako nag-aaral ng Spanish para sa money heist. Ito po ay pinag-aaralan ko dahil lang sa talaga interested ako right even before interested na ako sa Spanish language. I'm also trying to understand HR in a global perspective. So nag-aaral din ako nun, ano yung mga latest trends, technologies. Do that. Diamond painting. Actually, gusto ko yung diamond painting. Siguro after ko yung paint by the numbers, diamond painting naman ang isusunod ko. Okay, yun naman. Never stop searching for information and knowledge. True. Okay? And when I say never stop searching for information and knowledge, not just in HR, but in other areas as well. Now, here's a tip. Okay? Yung mga takot na mawala ng trabaho. Okay? And I am saying this because right from the start, we have been taught that the way to become successful is to finish your studies and find a good paying job. That is actually not true. The way to be successful is to finish your studies and do whatever it is that you like. Okay? Build a business. Build a business around it. Wala po akong alam sa business. Wala rin po akong alam sa business nung nag-start ako ng business. It's a trial and error for me. Dahil hindi po ako graduate ng business-related course. I'm a graduate of psychology. BS pa yun. Okay? Ibig sabihin clinical, yung orientation ng psychology namin. Hindi pa to yung tipong industrial psychology. So wala akong masyadong alam sa business. But over the years, I learned things. Okay? Huwag kayong matakot. Okay? Sometimes, may age requirement, not experience, tumitingin ng HR. Stop doing that, people. Wala nang age requirement. Anti-age discrimination law. Naku po, sasakalin ko kayo. Ang dami niyan palagi nagpo-post sa Philippines HR group between the ages of 21 to 30 or 21 to 35. Bakit? Ano meron? Pag 35, hindi na magaling na HR. Okay? Lockdownaka-apply last year. So what I did is to do volunteer practice. True, go. Volunteer kayo kung ano pa man. Okay? Now, maraming natatakot na pag nag-business kasi ako at hindi naging okay and I have to go back to the corporate world, baka hindi na ako tanggapin. Kasi sasabihin nila, tagal ko na nawala, o wala na akong experience, o masyado na ako matanda, o kung ano pa man. If you're meeting those kinds of things, then that is not the company for you. Look for other companies. Okay? Bakit ko nasabi ito? Nasasabi niyo lang po yan kasi kayo hindi kayo nawala ng trabaho. Uy, nawalan ako ng trabaho. Promise, nawalan ako ng trabaho. Back in 2008, I decided to do online work. So Odesk pa ang tawag sa kanya noon, hindi pa Upwork. Odesk. For 1 year, I was doing Odesk. And then after that, I decided to set up my own business, which was Talent Shout. For Talent Shout was operational until 2012. So 2015. Yeah, so up until 2015. Now, pagdating ng 2015, nahihirapan na ako because when you have a sole proprietor company, it mixes yung finances mo tsaka yung finances ng company, halo. So, ang hirap i-manage. So, I decided na, incorporate natin. So, nag-stop muna ng operations and during that time, wala akong trabaho. So, what did I do? I tried applying. And many companies turned me down because it's been a while since I've been an HR practitioner. the business that I had doesn't have anything to do with HR. It has to do with digital marketing. So, walang gustong tumanggap sa akin. And I've been applying for quite some time. Hanggang sa na-incorporate na si Talent Shout, naging uprush na siya, walang gustong tumanggap sa akin because I don't have the experience. Okay? Because I've been out of the business for quite some time. But I kept applying. Why? Because I realized that if these companies don't want me, then they are not the right company for me. One company took a chance. That was Game Loft. And they were actually looking for the particular skill that I have. Someone who has been an HR practitioner for quite some time and at the same time has also handled a business from scratch. That very, very specific skill, sa akin nila nakita yun. And because of that, they took a chance on me. Okay? So if you keep getting rejected, turned down, don't feel bad. That's not the right company for you. You'll find the right company. So bakit ko sinasabi ito? Akala ko po ba new outlook in HR? Bakit parang ako yung may mali? Parang kasalanan ko. Ba't parang kailangan ako yung magbago? Bakit ko sinasabi ito? You have to start the change within yourself because the coming months and years will be more challenging for us. Bakit? People will no longer agree to work in the office. Not all of your employees would be happy with going back to the office. So now, you have to understand, hybrid. Ano ba itong hybrid na ito? Hybrid work environment. Some days you're in the office, some days you're working from home, or your office itself looks like a home. Hindi na magiging uso ngayon yung cubicle, wala na. Pagandahan na ng setup ngayon. Yung pinapangarap nyo na malagugel na itsura ng opisina, na may mga couch, pwede ka magtrabaho kahit sa ang parte ng opisina, kailangan nyo nang simulan ng pagpaplano dyan. Because once this pandemic is over and you're asking your employees to report back to the office, not all of them would want to report back to the office. And I'm sure ngayon pa lang nakikita nyo na yan. Now, whenever we shift to GCQ, balik na kayo sa opisina, pwede na 75%. Ayaw nung iba. They would tell you na baka mahawa ko, baka may COVID, etc., etc. That's one of the reasons why. But another thing is that some people already had a taste for what it's like to work from home. Imagine I'm working from home, I have people, I have my kids beside me, I can watch TV habang ako'y nagtatrabaho, I can cook dinner, I can cook lunch, tipid sa pamasahe, tipid sa gastusin. So why would I give this up? So now, yes, correct. Most of the people applying is looking for work from home na. Mapapansin niyo yan. And I'm sure, lalo na nasa recruitment, nakikita niyo yan na ayaw niya, gusto niya work from home, ayaw niya nung work from the office. Because they already know what it's like to work from home. So, kailangan ready na kayo dyan. And to be ready for that, okay, dapat kayo din, yung way of thinking nyo ay magbago. Okay? Work from home is not productive for me because of many distractions. Not everyone is okay with work from home, but not everyone is also okay with working from the office. Mag-iiba preferences niyan. Okay? How do you now address all of this? Pwede ko na po silang memohan pag hindi sila bumalik. Okay? Pwede mong memohan, pero paano ka mag-hire pag tinanggal mo sila? Diba? How to monitor attendance in work from home? Okay. Again, if attendance is crucial, ibig ko sabihin, kung kayo po ay binabayaran ng inyong kliyente based on the number of hours worked in the office, or if the tasks involved are time-bound, ibig sabihin, kailangan talagang masimulan by 8 a.m. kasi by 4 p.m. kailangan na-release na o kung ano pa man. Unless that's your situation, you might have to rethink on monitoring attendance. Now, if your situation is really time-bound, how do you monitor attendance? You can actually have, meron tayo mga time doctor. Okay, that's one application that you might want to consider. Time doctor actually takes screenshots of the desktop of the employee para nakita mo kung anong ginagawa nila. Okay? The same also goes for Jibble, the paid version. They also take screenshots of the desktop para alam mo kung anong ginagawa nila. Okay? So monitor mo yung attendance, monitor mo kung nagtatrabaho ba talaga. But do this only if the tasks involved are time-bound. Otherwise, if it's not, if it's based on output only, output ang mas importante, do away with monitoring of attendance. Make sure that by this time, dapat na-submit nyo na yung reports nyo. Okay? Doon kayo mas maging mahigpit. Hindi mo na-submit yung report mo ng ganitong oras, okay. Let's do coaching. If coaching doesn't work, then let's do disciplinary action. Okay? Yes, metrics-driven deliverables more than attendance. Kaya nga like yun i-emphasize, if it's needed, yung pag-monitor ng attendance. Because right now, if you would still insist that attendance be monitored kahit na wala naman siya talagang kinalaman sa inyong deliverables, you will lose employees. Okay? Because now the focus is on productivity. You can have a lot of all of this time, doctor, at kung ano pa man. Pero, and one of our clients actually has this problem. They would log in at 8 a.m., they would log out at 5 p.m., pero wala silang ginawa. Okay? And yes, they have this app that takes screenshots. Okay? Paano wala nangyari? Any screenshot na nga. Kasi ini-screenshot lang naman yung desktop. Pwede naman nilang itenga or i-post yung kanilang desktop to a specific document. Pero sa totoo, nasa labas sila, nasa galaan kung ano pa. And that can happen. Kaya nga, if, as much as possible, if you can focus on the deliverables, focus instead on deliverables. Okay? Accomplishment reports actually works. Okay? So accomplishment reports. So pag nakita mo na, 8 hours ng trabaho pero bakit parang onte? Let's talk about this. Anong problema? Anong nangyari? What's holding you up? Paano ka namin matutulungan? How about leads? Monitoring of leads is very, very easy. You have a lot of platforms that you can make use of. At bago niyo ako sabihan ng may bayad po kasi, ang dami pong libre. Have you heard of Grove HR? Grove HR is free. They already have a payroll and timekeeping platform. It's actually free. You can make use of that. Colabida is providing a 14-day free trial. You might want to consider that as well. Grove HR nga pala is free ha. Free for 200, less than 250 headcount. Forever free siya. So if you want something that can help you with filing of leaves, go through that route. Or better yet, set up your own Google Forms. Diba? There is always a way. Okay? Depending on boss, there are some that needs to track activities and need to attend queries even after office hours and weekends. Okay. If you need to attend to queries after office hours and on weekends, you might want to rethink why that's happening. Okay? You might want to rethink that. Because what's the sense of having office hours if you are encouraging your employees to attend to queries even after office hours? Is there another way that you can go about it? Baka naman kailangan nyong i-adjust yung inyong office hours. We have one client ng kanilang pasok ay 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pero most of their clients are actually panggabi. So it's senseless to have it at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Adjust yung office hours. Okay? If you have queries during weekends, you might need also to adjust your schedule. Baka naman hindi nag-work ang Mondays to Fridays or Mondays to Saturdays. Baka dapat Tuesdays to Saturdays or Tuesdays to Sundays. Diba? Think about that. How will we monitor productivity during work from home given that it's hard to have sales or hit the target now? Go for reports. Ilan ang kanilang leads that they have conducted for the day or they have tapped for the day? How many new leads? How many old leads? What happened to the old leads? Monitoring. Diba? Pwede yan. So you can still focus on productivity without having to focus on the time. Okay? Set rules, correct. Be very, very careful with how you manage time, especially for salespeople. And not many people are aware of this. Field personnel, for example, if your salespeople are doing field work, okay? Labor code actually allows the non-payment of overtime for field personnel. Okay? Because pag field personnel, there's no definite way or there's no way that you can, with accuracy, okay, determine when work started and when work ended. Pag field, okay, wala kang definite accuracy. When you require your field personnel or your employees to log in, you actually now have an accurate way to determine when work started and when it will end. So, pag ganun, ang ginawa nyo, pag nag-overtime sila, you now have to pay for overtime. So, be careful with how you deal with that. Okay? So, adjust nyo yan. Adjust nyo yung inyong mga practices. Okay? What are the things that you are doing right now that are no longer applicable? Baka yung atin pong work schedule ay hindi naman tama. Kasi minsan, at ito ay nagiging problema ng mga HR, minsan sasabihin natin na, okay, schedule po namin 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Bakit? Yun po kasi yung gusto ng top management. Okay, yun ang gusto ng top management. But what's the reason for that? Anong meron? Okay? As HR, you should know how to answer that. Bakit 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.? Bakit 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.? Sabi po kasi sa batas 8 hours. Yes, pero hindi sinabi ng batas na dapat 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So why did you set 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. as your office hours? Para wala pong traffic. May traffic yan. Kahit anong oras nyo pa iset yan, may traffic yan. Unless na lang super kakaibang schedule nyo. For example, 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Okay? Kahit na yan, meron pa rin traffic yan kasi yung mga mag-early lunch, etc. So, meron traffic. So, isipin nyo, ito ba ay nag-work pa rin sa amin? Or trying to make sure na Mondays to Saturdays lang ang pasok. Kung hindi nag-work, baka kailangan nyo i-adjust. Baka dapat Tuesdays to Sundays. Sunday po kasi is family day. Yes, Sunday is family day. Pero ilan ba sa inyo ang talagang Sunday is family day for them? Okay? Look into that as well. Okay? Sabi ko nga kanina, di ba? Analysis. You have to analyze things. You have to be very, very analytical now. Because right now, ang kalaban nyo ay hindi lang yung mga competitors nyo. Ang kalaban nyo right now are your competitors. So let's say you are in the manufacturing industry. Ang kalaban nyo ay kapwa nyo manufacturing industries, BPO industry or the outsourcing industry, and the gig economy. Part-time. Okay? Yung nakikita nating Food Panda, Tok, ano pa ba, Grab, Transportify, those are parts of gig economy. And doon wala silang kahirap-hirap doon. Drive lang sila, takbo-takbo lang sila kung saan man kailangan mag-deliver. Then they get paid for that. Kontrolado nila oras nila, kontrolado nila kung saan kung anong oras sila papasok, what time sila gigising, what time sila titigil. Kontrolado nila lahat yan. Okay? So ngayon, kalaban nyo na rin ngayon yan. Kalaban nyo yung mga freelance work. Especially sa mga nasa IT industry, kalaban nyo na ngayon yan. Because people, since they have started working from home, they are now realizing that, uy, I can do this work even from home. I don't have to report to the office. So if there are companies who are okay with working from home, why not? Or if there are companies who are looking for freelancers, or what if I build my own application, my own platform? Yan ang mga kalaban mo ngayon. Kaya nga sinasabi ko sa inyo, check what your practices are. Kaya di ba unang part ko, panay sa inyo, kayo, ano yung kailangan yung bagungin, ano yung kailangan yung improve, ano yung kailangan ng skills meron kayo, anong processes, procedures, etc. Because these are now the problems that you will face. Okay? And employee benefits. Meron naman po kaming employee benefits, okay naman po. Okay, meron kayo employee benefits, but the question is how personalizes your employee benefits? Because now, people will be looking for a more personalized employee benefits. Hindi ko naman kailangan ng masyadong maraming leaves, but I do want a better coverage ng HMO for my dependents. Okay? Ay, hindi po kasi ang covered lang namin employee. Ayoko na. Okay? Paano po yun? Ang hirap i-monitor pag iba-iba sila ng benefits nila. True, which now means that you need to have a platform that will help you manage all of this. Correct. Dati Compenben ang tawag, ngayon Total Rewards Management na. True. Okay? And when we say Total Rewards Management, it encompasses more than just compensation and benefits. It touches on engagement, it touches on retention, it touches on learning and development. Kaya nga, di ba sabi ko kanina, hindi na nag-work yung silos. Compenben lang ako, recruitment lang ako, employee engagement lang ako. Hindi. Because ngayon, everyone is focused on the employees. Empleyado din naman po ako, ba't wala nag-focus sa akin? Kasi whenever you preach something, you also need to practice that. When you preach about work-life balance, practice it also. Okay? When you talk about taking care of the mental health of your employees, take care of your mental health as well. Okay? And when it comes to compensation and benefits, total rewards management, enjoy it as well. Okay? But make sure that whatever it is that you provide is actually custom fitted to whatever your employees require or need. Hindi po kasi kami po pwede ng paiba-iba. Kung hindi pwede ng paiba-iba, what does the majority need? Do not come up with compensation and benefits programs na dahil nakita nyo, maganda yun na ginawa ng isang company, baka pwede namin copy-paste. Huwag po kayo nagka-copy-paste. Palagi ko sinasabi yan. Wala kayo mararating sa copy-paste. Ang practice ng ibang company is only for them. It might not be applicable to you. It's good to have a knowledge of what they do, but the best way to do your employee benefits program, your compensation program, is to ask your employees, what are the things that matter to you? What are the things that will motivate you? Once you have that, okay, you will have a program that will actually get your employees engaged. Okay? At succession planning. Diba? Hindi natin iniisip ang succession planning dati. May madali. FlexBen, correct. Oh, habol ko lang sa content ben. FlexBen. May tinatawag na concept na FlexBen or flexible benefits or cafeteria type benefits. Yung si employee pipili siya kung ano yung gusto niya at yun yung kumbaga bibigyan lang siya ng credits tapos bahala na siya kung paano niya gusto i-allocate. There are platforms that allow you to do that. Succession planning is also one thing that's very important. If there's one thing that the pandemic has taught us is that we are not sure if the headcount that we have right now will still be the headcount by tomorrow. It sounds very, very morbid, but it's true. I have one client na nagulantang sila because one member of the management team fell victim to COVID. And when that member of the management team fell victim to COVID, they don't have anyone who can replace that person. So now they are trying to tap headhunters na who can help them. Unfortunately, very, very specific yung skills ng taong yun. Okay? At sa isang kumpanya lang nila po pwedeng kunin yun, pero hindi naman nila po pwedeng i-poach. Hindi nila po pwedeng i-pirate yung mga empleyadong nandun. Plus, that person, the one who passed away, has been with that company for a long time bago nila nakuha. Okay? So, succession planning is very, very important. Okay? Yes, correct. If an employee has a unique set of skills, dapat nag-groom na kayo ng kung sino man yung papalit sa kanila. And sometimes HR professionals do not like to hear, ayoko succession planning, pwede naman mag-hire sa labas. We do that because we do not understand what succession planning is all about. Succession planning, hindi pa pag may umalis, hanap kami ng kapalit or kung sino man yung next in line niya, palit sa kanya. Succession planning is more than that. Okay? There are actually platforms that would allow you to do succession planning. And you need to know those platforms. Those platforms will allow you to check ano ba yung risk when you hire this, flight risk nitong taong to, success rate nitong taong to, pag kinonsider namin siya for this position, pag kinonsider namin siya for ibang position. Okay? Dapat yan na iisip natin yan. Office politics po. Okay? As HR, please do not involve yourself in HR politics. Be careful. Pag may nagsabi sa'yo na, uy, alam mo ba? Basta't nagsimula ang isang sentence sa alam mo ba? Okay? Nakamaritas mode on ang inyong kausap, so wag po kayo makikisaw-saw. Okay? Be careful. Pag sinabi, alam mo ba na si ganito? Ano pala yan? Ganito pala ginawa niya. Talaga? I think this is not the best time to discuss that. Okay? Very gently. Okay? Pag-usapan natin yan next time. Okay? But never say na, kaya pala. Whenever you make a reactions, kaya pala ganun. You're already adding fire doon sa kung ano man yung pinagchichismisan. Kasi, pag itong si Marites ay nagkwento ngayon sa iba, sabi nga nung HR, umagri nga yung HR sa akin. Sabi nga ni kung sino man yung HR yun, si Ana, sabi nga ni Ana na oo nga, ganyan daw yan talaga. Okay, kahit na hindi naman yun ang sinabi mo. Okay? So be careful with office politics. Now, office politics can get in the way of succession planning, but if you have a good platform in place, and yes, word is very powerful. When you have a platform in place or when you have a good succession planning program in place, office politics should not matter. Okay? Again, HR, don't try to do this on your own. Get help. If you're doing succession planning, if you're trying to establish your succession planning program, get help from people who know how to set up succession planning. Okay? May nag-post nito sa Philippines HR group ng isang linggo, 2 weeks ago, I think. What's your practice when it comes to succession planning? Gusto ko sanang sumagot na succession planning is a very complicated process. Kaya lang, medyo inaantok na ako so hindi ako nakasagot. But succession planning is a very complicated process. It's not something na po pwede mo i-comment na step 1, step 2, step 3. Hindi. It involves a lot of things. It involves having competency libraries. It involves having your particular idea of what should be in one position. Ano yung sino ba dapat yung incumbent doon. Okay? Sa BPO practice po ata nila ang succession planning. Actually, no. No. It's a common misconception that BPOs usually have the best practices, but it's not. BPOs sometimes have the worst practice when it comes to HR. Okay? Succession planning is not one of them. It's very, very rare that a BPO company would have succession planning in place. More often than not, if a top management resigns in a BPO company, they will get somebody from the outside. Okay? More often than not. Okay? So yan, kasi because sa BPO kasi, BPO, buka sila. When I say buka, they are volatile, uncertain, changing, ambiguous environment. Okay? But sobrang bilis ng changes, so they don't have time to do the succession planning. Kaya nga sabi nila, di ba, pag HR ka at sa BPO ka nag-HR, subok na matatag, subok na matibay. Bangko Filipino. Sa mga hindi nakakuha ng joke, sabihin ko kayo po ay pinanganak ng 2000 na. Sa mga nakakuha po ng joke, huwag po kayong lalabas dahil malamang po ay miyembro na tayo ng mga considered as senior citizens. Hindi pa naman po ako senior citizen, papunta na doon, pero yung mga nakakaintindi ng commercial na yun, aba talaga, huwag masyado naglalalabas. At risk po tayo. Okay? So, succession planning is a complicated process. So, you need someone who's good with it para kayo ay matulungan. Okay? Na ayusin nyo yung succession planning. But it's very important that you have this program in place. Especially now na hindi natin alam kung yung bang mga top management natin will be the same people who would be there pag natapos na itong pandemic na to. Everything is uncertain right now. And lastly, yes, naka-last slide na po kami. Ang daldal po ng speaker namin ngayon. Lastly, labor law. Guys, 2021 na, 2021 na. 2020 pa po nag-start ang pandemic. 2021 na. If you are still not yet sure the difference between authorized cause and just cause, if you are not yet sure what is meant by 6 months of probationary period, if you are not yet sure about these things, go back to your labor code and the implementing rules and regulation, the omnibus rules implementing the labor code. Go back to that, read that. Spend some time in the website of the Department of Labor kasi lahat ng kailangan nyo ay nandun po. Updated copy, updated labor advisories, updated department orders, lahat po ay nandoon. Go back to that because ang HR ngayon ay hindi po pwede. And some people would say na HR, ang dami-daming sinasabi tungkol sa labor, hindi naman siya lawyer. Okay? You would see that. And then sometimes I see that doon sa Philippines HR group, hindi ka naman lawyer, anong karapatan mong magsabi niyan? Okay? I see that a lot. And we will get that feedback a lot. But we are attorneys in fact. Okay? Attorneys in fact. Tatandaan niyo yan palagi. We are attorneys in fact. Or what do we mean by attorneys in fact? You are not an actual attorney, but because of the experience that you have, you may act, you have the knowledge of the law that makes you an attorney in fact. Okay? Pwede na sana, hindi nga lang pumasa sa bar or wala nga lang tayong lisensya or hindi lang tayo bar passers. Okay? Hindi lang tayo pwedeng mag-practice. Okay? We cannot practice law because we are not lawyers, but we can provide guidance on how the labor law should be interpreted. At pag hindi nyo alam ang labor code, okay? Pag hindi nyo alam ang labor code at hindi nyo naiintindihan ang labor code at hindi nyo alam ang difference ng spirit of the law at word of the law, ay, okay, magkakaproblema tayo dyan. And I see this a lot. I see this every day in Philippines HR group. Okay? Level up our profession, okay, by asking questions that cannot be easily seen online. For example, magtatanong, paano po ba ang computation ng separation pay? Guys, madali yang makita. Handbook on Statutory Monetary Benefits, Labor Code, Omnibus Rules Implementing the Labor Code, DO 147-15, nandyan lahat yan. So dapat alam niyo yan. Hindi ko po kasi alam saan ako mag-start. Start with the most pressing question. Ano ba yung talagang hirap kang intindihin yung konsepto? Attend trainings, attend seminars, attend webinars para mas naiintindihan. Ask lawyers. Hindi naman mali ang magtanong sa mga lawyers. Ask people, ask HR professionals. Okay? Pero that should be the latter part na ng mga steps mo yun. Research first, analyze first, intindihin muna. Okay? Kasi pag tayo ay masyadong tanong agad before we try to exhaust all the other possibilities. Again, babalik tayo sa sinabi natin kanina, learn the helplessness. Nasasanay tayo na ang unang gagawin natin is, tanong ko nga sa group. Bago ka pa nag-research, tanong ko nga sa group. Holiday po ba bukas? Ang dali namang malaman noon. Maghahanap ka lang naman ng labor advisory. Maghahanap ka lang ng department order. Maghahanap ka lang ng Republic Act kung meron bang i-announce. Titignan mo lang naman sa labor code kung ano ba yung mga holidays na inilagay doon. Okay? Research, research, research. Analyze, analyze, analyze. Because the pandemic has given us newer problems. Dati ang problema natin is attrition lang. Paano ko mapapababay attrition? Problema natin is compensation package namin, paano ko gagawin competitive? Kasi yung competition namin ang taas nun sa kanila. What do we do? Ngayon hindi. Competition mo ang taas ng pasweldo, outsourcing industry ang taas ng pasweldo, gig economy ang taas ng pasweldo. Paano ang gagawin mo? Okay? So for us to be able to handle all of this, we need to level up ourselves. New outlook, new normal, new outlook, level up ourselves. Tigilan na natin yung Messiah complex na ako na lang, ako na lang. Tigilan na natin yung, okay, administrative task, ako na lang ang gagawa. Wait, administrative task ito, paulit-ulit ito. How do I automate this? I cannot automate this. How do I delegate this? I cannot have additional headcount to delegate this to. Can I outsource this? Who do I tap? Isa lang po kasi ako sa HR. Isa ka sa HR. Come up with committees. Makapag-create nga ng committees. Okay, sino gusto mag-volunteer? Learning and Development Committee. Sino gusto mag-volunteer? Events Committee. Okay, now I am alone, but I have a committee who will take care of all of this. They just need to send me reports. They just need to send me their projects. And all I have to do is discuss this with my boss for his approval. There is always one way to skin, more than one way to skin the cat. Hindi ko sinasabing balatan niyo yung mga pusa. Bawal yan. Animal abuse yan. Ang ibig ko lang sabihin, more than one way na po pwede mong gawin ng isang bagay. You will always have options. Do not let other people, even your boss, take away those options. If they want to take away those options, baka kailangan ng mag-update ng CV at mag-apply sa kung saan kayo ay appreciated. And with that, I thank you everyone and I hope you're able to learn something from what we have discussed today. Ayan po. And I am giving the floor back to our hosts, Ms. Neds and Ms. Jorina.
Okay, we are opening our chat box for all their questions, di ba? Habang busy si Ma'am Rhona ay nag-aano kami ni Ma'am Jorina, nagpaparapod na kami, di ba? Kasi kukulangin tayo ng oras, that's why hindi na namin ginawang live yung raffle. But definitely lahat makikita niyo naman po kung sino na. Pero syempre po we are opening the Q&A. Ma'am, marami po ba tayong question dyan?
Ayan, okay. So meron po tayong mga questions. I-check ko lang po dito sa ating attendance kung ano po ang ating mga katanungan. So very interesting po talaga ang mga sinabi ni Ma'am Rhona. Kahit ako sabi ko, wow, grabe. Oo nga, no?
Sapul
Oo
kami,
nga,
ma'am.
no?
Sapul. Ouch. Lalo na yung yung pag-delegate, di ba, ma'am?
Oh, lalo na yung pagde-delegate kasi kami ni Ma'am Neds ay hirap na hirap doon. So, okay. So, first question po ay from our attendance form. What is the best coping strategy for human resources in this new normal?
Depende kung ano yung coping na gusto mong mangyari. If it's in terms of mental health, meron tayong tinatawag na Pomodoro technique. Okay, I'll teach you a few techniques. So number 1 is Pomodoro technique. Anong sabihin ng Pomodoro technique? One reason kung bakit we are suffering from burnout is because we try to do our tasks dire-diretso the whole day. Okay, 8 hours lang ako, tatapusin ko to lahat, kaya ko to. Hindi nyo kaya. Okay, don't try to fool yourself into thinking na kaya mo yan. Dire-diretsong trabaho. Hindi po. Mababurnout kayo. So what you do is 2 hours of work, 15-minute break. 2 hours of work, 15-minute break. Break kayo ng break every now and then. When I say break, hindi ibig sabihin nito na, sige, tigil lang muna ako for 15 minutes. Hindi. Leave your workstation. Kung kayo ay working from home, pumunta kayo sa kusina, magkape muna kayo, uminom kayo ng tubig, lumabas kayo, magyosi kayo, bumili kayo ng chichirya, check kayo ng Facebook, anything that takes you away from your workstation. For 15 minutes, labas. After 15 minutes, balik, trabaho ulit. Okay? Why do you do that? It re-energizes you. May isang nagsabi kanina, I think si Miss Cynthia ata yun. You need to re-energize yourself. So that's one. That's Pomodoro technique. During the day, do that. Okay? Mas marami kayong magagawa kesa dun sa dire-diretso kayo. Kasi pag dire-diretso kayo, bigla kayong tumigil, biglang bagsak ng energy nyo, aantukin kayo, wala na kayong magagawa. Okay? Next, kung ang problema naman is because sobrang dami nung ginagawa, again, delegate. There is actually a quadrant. Okay? Hindi ko lang naisama dito. So, probably I'll just post it in HR Calabarzon or also in Philippines HR Group. There is a quadrant that lets you decide which tasks need to be delegated. If it's urgent and important, do it. If it's urgent but not important, delegate it. Okay, so delegate. That's one way that you cope with the new normal. Don't do things that should not be done by you. Don't do things that are outside of your job description. Hindi ko sinasabi na, hindi ko naman yung job description, hindi ko gagawin yan. Hindi. Pero if it's something that you can delegate, delegate it. Okay? Paano naman kung kunwari sobrang dami ng questions na hindi mo na alam kung anong gagawin mo? Correct, that's the Eisenhower matrix. Yan, ang galing, ang bilis talaga. Wala akong masabi kala Nels at kala Julina, ang bilis maghanap. This is the Eisenhower matrix. So if you have attended the HR Bootcamp Masterclass, ito yung isa sa mga tinuturo ko. The Eisenhower matrix lets you understand which ones you need to delegate, which ones you need to do, which ones you can do away with. Okay? Always have this handy, always have this with you. In my case, I actually have a bulletin, a court board na divided into 4. So if it's urgent and important, okay, alam ko na kailangan kong gawin kagad ito. If it's not urgent but important, I need to make sure that I have a specific date on when this should happen. If it's urgent but not important, okay, sino pwede kong pag-delegatean nito? Remember, when you delegate, hindi lang basta pasa ng work. Iba yung pasa ng work. When you delegate not just the work, you delegate also the authority regarding that work. So kung may kailangan decision making, hindi ka dapat nakikialam doon. Kung sino yung pinag-delegatean mo, kanyang project na yun. And if it's not urgent, not important, do away with it. Hindi pa kailangan ito, tsaka na natin ito pag-usapan. Okay, so that's another way on how you can manage or cope with the current normal that we have, or the new normal that we have. Another thing is, always keep within your schedule. Okay? Try as much as possible to keep within your schedule. Mahirap yung keeping to 8 to 5. Ma-challenging yun. Okay? Start with trying to keeping it within your work week. Kung Mondays to Fridays ang pasok, Mondays to Fridays lang dapat kayo nagtatrabaho. Set aside your Saturdays and Sundays for your breaks, gala, o kung ano pa man. Okay? Or yung mga hobbies ninyo, kung kunwari you are in the area na kung saan ay medyo MECQ pa or ECQ, dun muna. Okay? Sa bahay lang, pero make sure that you turn off your phone, turn off your laptop on a Saturday and Sunday. Okay? Once you get the hang of it, adjust. So kaya nyo na yung Mondays to Fridays, adjust naman kayo. Sige, pag Monday, 8 to 5 lang ako. Once you get the hang of it, Monday and Tuesday, 8 to 5 lang ako. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 8 to 5 lang. Hanggang sa makasanayan mo siya na 8 to 5 ka. Okay? Sometimes, ang kumakain sa oras natin is yung other tasks na hindi naman talaga importante. So if it's not important, sabi nga natin kanina, do away with it. Okay? What else? Always talk to someone. Okay? Always talk to someone. Introvert po ako. Okay? Kung introvert ka, walang problema, kausapin mo si Siri. Kausapin mo yung kung sino man ang pwede mong kausapin. Sometimes I actually talk to yung pag nanonood ako, nagre-react ako sa nanonood ko. Ano ba naman yung bakit siya na naisip mong patayin? Gumaganon ako. Kasi you need to let this all out. Okay? You might be an introvert, but everyone, all human beings are social animals. We crave for connection. We will always crave for connection. And the best way to have connection is to talk to people around us. So talk to them. Okay? Signal talaga ang malaking problema. Yun ang kumakain ng oras. Yes, I understand that. There was actually one webinar na kung kailan yung kasagsagan na namin ang topic, biglang nag-disconnect. Diba? Tapos 30 minutes to 1 hour bago na balik. So yung mga sandaling yun, yung anxiety level ko ay lagpas-lagpas na at talagang gusto ko nang pasabugin ang PLDT sa sobrang ines. It happens. Okay, it happens. So, yun din yung isa kong gustong sabihin sa inyo. Whenever something bad happens, tell yourself, well, it happens. Okay? Hindi yan permanente. It will pass. A few hours from now, a few days from now, it will get resolved. Okay? So, always tell yourself, pag naiinis na kayo, it happens. Anong pwede kong gawin? Wala akong pwedeng gawin. Kundi ang mag-intay. Okay? Hindi mo na ako pwedeng umakyat sa poste para ayusin yun. It happens. Be gentle with yourself. It happens. Nagkamali ka. Alam mong nagkamali ka. You tried to have it addressed. You were able to resolve it. It happens. Patawarin mo yung sarili mo. Wala tayong magagawa. Nagkamali ka eh. Basta't alam mo nagkamali ka and you tried to do something about it. You tried to resolve it. Pwede na yun. Okay? Yes, it's just a bad day, not a bad life. Some things cannot be changed. Only your outlook can be changed. Okay? So always keep that in mind. Kasi minsan ka tayo nai-stress kasi pinoproblema natin yung problema. Huwag yung problemahin yung problema. Problema na nga yan eh. Huwag nyo nang dagdagan pa. If it happens, it happens. If I can do something about this, then let me do something about this. If I cannot do anything about this, then let time do something about it. Okay? Ganun palagi. Para hindi kayo na-stress. So yun yung mga yun yung mga siguro masasuggest ko sa inyo para kayo po ay hindi masyadong stressed. Kung napapansin niyo po, segue lang ako kasi ako sa totoo lang, isa sa mga nai-stress ako, hindi kasi ako magsalita ako during webinars, but I am actually a very introverted person. Iwan mo ko sa isang kanto, sa isang sulok ng bahay. As long as I have internet, I have my laptop, buong araw kahit di mo ko kausapin, mabubuhay ako. Dalhin mo ko sa isang lugar na maraming tao, nadidrain yung energy ko. Okay? At isa sa mga nakakakain ng oras ko is actually yung pag-makeup. So kung mapapansin niyo po sa mga nagtataka, bakit ganun yung kilay niya? Bakit parang floating? Floating po talaga yan. Pasalamatan natin si Zoom. Meron po si Zoom na naka-beta mode right now na po pwede po kayo maglagay ng makeup without putting makeup. Ayan o. Oh, di ba yung kilay ko nasa mga kamay ko? Galing, no? Ayan. So yun yung sinasabi ko na be aware ng latest technologies, di ba? Walang kahirap-hirap. Kailangan ko na i-ensure na hindi ako masyadong oily. At kasi hindi rin ako mahilig mag-makeup. So ang makeup ko, ayan. Maraming salamat, Zoom. Hanggang lipstick po yan. Kumpleto yan. Ayan.
Okay, Miss Rhona, very interesting po yun. Ganun palang galing, ah.
Diba?
Oo nga.
Okay.
So we do have another question from our attendants. I am an aspiring HR professional and also a student. Any tips for us to be successful in the future?
Okay. Bago yan, sagutin ko muna kasi may hinahabol na tanong si Kim. Sabi niya, ano po ulit yung ako na lang gagawa mentality? Ang tawag po dyan, Messiah Complex. Ako na lang. Okay? Yun naman po sa nag-ask ng question natin. How do you ensure na magiging successful ka in the future? I cannot ensure your success. It's all up to you. But, okay, never give up your penchant for learning. Never give that up. Yung willingness mo to learn, no matter the situation, the ability to absorb things. Huwag mong i-give up yun. That's one way for you to be successful. Always be in learning mode. Kahit ano pang narating mo, kahit gaano ka nakatagal, always be on learning mode and always be humble. I have seen a lot of HR professionals na medyo feeling ko umakyat ata yung position title sa ulo nila na whenever they talk to people, para bang, ako lang papakinggan nyo, ako lang magaling. Huwag po kayong ganun. Okay? Always be humble because sabi nga sa Desiderata, there will always be people before you who would know more and people after you who would know less than what you know. Okay? There will always be people like that na mas maraming alam sa iyo, and there will always be people who would know less than you. So do not let go of that learning mode and always be humble because you don't know what you're going to learn from people around. That's one key to success. Of course, wag din natin kakalimutan na magdasal, magpasalamat. Yes, be a servant HR. Wag pong, kasi minsan kasi may mga HR and during my time na nag-start pa lang ako sa HR, I see a lot of HR professionals na tingin nila sa sarili nila Diyos. You will get this feedback from other people. They will tell you na HR feeling yan siya may-ari ng kumpanya. No, HR feeling niya Diyos. Kasi yan yung natatak sa kanila before pa. Okay? Do not even for 1 minute think that you are super special. Okay? You are not the center of the universe, but you can guide the people who will become centers of that universe. Okay? Yun yung special power mo. You guide them. Okay? You will not be in the limelight. You will guide them. And that will be your, kumbaga, your badge of honor that you were able to grow these people. Pag doon mo nakukuha yung happiness mo in seeing other people grow, I assure you, you will become successful someday. New management, new organizational culture. Yes, correct. New management, new organizational culture. Ayan. Meron pa po ba tayo? Iba pa pong question? Touching people's lives. Correct.
Yes po, meron pa po tayong Ma'am Rhona na mga questions. From our attendants, why are HR always seen as not so important department when in fact it is almost the backbone of the company? We work hard to hire the best employees so that they can contribute to the success of the company.
Because we don't communicate our success. That's one of the reasons why people don't see us as important. We don't communicate our success. That's the problem. Okay? What do I mean by we don't communicate our success? We don't let managers and our bosses know what our accomplishments are. We don't sell ourselves. We don't let them see what we are able to do. We don't push back. Oftentimes we just work quietly. Working quietly is okay, but dapat meron ding yabang factor. Okay, dapat meron tayo, we need to know how to speak their language. Bakit si sales palaging kilala? Bakit si operations palaging kilala? Bakit sila importante? Because they can translate their work into numbers. HR is having a hard time translating their work into numbers because we have been raised to think that, you don't like numbers. Okay? Nandun tayo palagi sa, no numbers. Okay? But we have to translate our work to numbers, and we have to let them know that, okay, this is what HR has accomplished for this year. Hindi nga tayo gumagawa nun eh. It's very rare for an HR to actually have a year-end report, letting the people know, this is what we have accomplished for this year. An increase of 15% in headcount, increase of 5% in employee engagement, decrease of 10% in attrition for this year, decrease of attrition among probationary employees this year, using these steps. We don't do that. We have to do that. We have to tell them what we're doing. We have to let them know that these are the numbers of HR. Okay? So we have to do that. Business language, correct, Kim. We have to have this business language. We need to translate that into the numbers, okay, na naiintindihan ng business community. And we also have to be, we also have to market ourselves as really professionals, and that we really know what we have to do. Okay? Kaya nga, di ba sabi ko kanina, dapat aware din kayo sa kung ano ba yung nasa labor code, kasi that's the easiest way to set up your authority as an HR professional. Ayan. I hope that answers your question sa nagtanong po.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Rhona. And we have another question. What is your most unforgettable experience as an HR professional? And how did you handle the pressure as an HR practitioner whenever there are employees who were hard-headed and always boast their tenuity in the company? Ayan.
Okay, I have two most memorable experiences. One good, one bad. The good one is yung nung nilaunch namin yung gamification program with GameLoft. It was actually, when I joined GameLoft, they were already planning on a gamification program. And ako, being the atribida that I am, kasi syempre, magkakasama pa na yung mga HR professionals from different studios, from Indonesia, from Vietnam, from other parts of the world. They were talking about gamifying HR. Gamifying all of these practices in HR. And ako, ayaw patalo. Diba? Proud, Philippine pride, proud to be Pinoy. Ganun ako. So kailangan ko ilaban na, hi, Pinoy magaling, kaya namin yan. So sabi ko, I'll do that. I'll come up with the gamification program, I'll present it to you. So I created the gamification program. It was very, very basic. And then I presented it to them. At nagulat ako kasi it actually matched what they were expecting. And not only that, I was also able to provide them with an updated version that really was rooted on the different gaming principles. And that gamification framework was actually adapted in other studios. Imagine mo ako na walang masyadong alam sa gamification, nakapag-launch ako ng isang project that was applied in Manila, in the Philippines, and was also later applied on the other studios in Southeast Asia. So ang saya-saya ko noon. Boss ko was very happy with what happened. Hanggang ngayon, nag-uusap ka pa rin kami about that. So yun yung pinakamasaya kong moment. Ano yung sinasabi ko isang memorable na sobrang bad? Okay? Hindi mo siya sobrang bad, but it was a learning experience for me. When I was starting out as an HR, syempre, kaka-start pa lang. Nung nag-aaral ako, napaka-mabait kong bata, no boyfriend, bahay, aral, bahay, eskwela lang ako. As in, super, wala akong love life. So, nung makagraduate na, at nagtatrabaho na, at kumikita na, syempre, una kong thought, pwede na mag-jowa. Ayan. So, nagka-jowa, who was also working for the same company, which is why right now, hindi ko yan ina-encourage. I always tell them, my staff na, wag kayo kukuha dito ng jowa kasi pag nag-away kayo, nagka-problema, malaking problema yan. So, I have a jowa, I have a boyfriend working in the same company. What happened was, the boyfriend did something that was considered as non-negotiable for the company. Right? It was a memorable experience for me because as an HR staff who was reporting directly to the general manager, I had to create the termination papers of my boyfriend. Okay? And it was very hard for him. Okay? But I had to separate my work from our personal life. I had to terminate him. At doon ko na-realize na if you want to be successful as an HR, you have to be very, very objective. No matter how hard, no matter how painful, no matter the consequences, you need to be objective. So I terminated my boyfriend. That wasn't the first time. I actually also terminated another boyfriend. Kaya nga, niloloko ko ng mga kaibigan ko na hindi ako pwedeng magka-boyfriend kasi na-terminate palagi. So, those are the two experiences that I had that na actually tumatak sa akin as an HR professional. What did I learn from all of these things? That you can be objective. It is possible for you to be very objective. I was objective, I am objective to the point that if I did something wrong, nagkamali ako, aksidente, mali yung pagkaka-encode ko or kung ano pa man, I will be the first one to tell my boss that, boss, I need you to sign my notice to explain because I did something that's incorrect. I would be very much willing to suspend myself if I do something wrong. Okay? So yun po. So I hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Rhona. And we have one last question from our attendants. As an HR, what is the latest strategy that you have used to the company you're working with? And what is the difference of using any strategy for the company and its people?
Latest strategy that we have not yet implemented this, but I would be implementing this within the next couple of months. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it correctly. We are doing away with the difference between VLSL. So wala na kaming difference between VLSL. You get 12 leave credits. Bahala ka kung saan mo gustong gamitin. Broken-hearted ka, go ahead. Namatayan, go ahead. Nagkasakit, go ahead. Mental health reasons, go ahead. But you would be given 12 SLs for the year. And then once you reach the second year, we are planning to have it increased to 18. And then 3 years, we're planning to increase that to 20. Okay, pero yun na yun. Yun na lahat yun. Bahala ka kung anong reason mo. Wala kaming differentiation whether you're going on a sick leave o kung ano pa man. Kasi one of the things that I noticed is that if you differentiate between SL-BL, mas nagkakaproblema pa. Minsan, may sakit pero dahil nagko-convert yung SL, ayaw gamitin yung SL, gagamitin yung BL. Kaya naman kino-convert yung BL, so SL lang SL kahit walang sakit. We don't want to give that problem to our employees. So go ahead, kahit ano pang reason yan, these are the total number of free credits that we are providing for you. Another thing is that we are implementing 100% work from home forever. So hindi na po, si Aprash po ay hindi na po kami babalik sa opisina. We have an office, but we have already made it into a virtual office. Everyone gets to work from home. Walang requirement for them to report to the office. Ang requirement lang namin is that whenever there's a meeting, you have to be there. And we also make sure that the meeting happens during office hours. So those are the things that we are implementing right now. It's quite different from what most people would be used to, especially the work from home, because everyone wants to work in the office. Most people would rather work in the office kasi syempre, di ba, wala kang problema sa kuryente, sa internet, sa aircon. But our employees would rather that they work from home. So lahat kami ngayon ay 100% work from home forever na yun. And with the leave credits naman, it's something kasi na ayaw na namin pahirapan pa yung mga empleyado. Trying to figure out BL ba to, SL ba to. So para mas madali, yan na yun, lahat na yun. Kayo na bahala kung paano nyo gagawin yan. We are also not very particular with the hours work. So sometimes you would see me replying emails kalagitnaan ng hating gabi simply because gusto ko magtrabaho ng time na yun. I have staff who start as early as 8 a.m. I also have team members who work at around 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Meron pa kaming isa dati na broken schedule siya. So 10 to 1 and then ang balik na niya ay 7 to 11. 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. So hati. Kasi in between meron siyang Japanese classes. So we are okay with that. We are not very particular with that. So yun yung mga changes that we have implemented in our company right now. Kasi di ba practice what you preach. So di ba ang dami-dami ko sinasabi about flexibility tapos kami biglang hindi flexible. Hindi maganda. So we need to also be very, very flexible in how we do business in Uprush.
Nakamute
Okay,
pa
thank you
ako.
so much, Ma'am Rhona.
Yes, ma'am. At dahil speaker natin and speaker and mentor ulit natin for the second time around si Ma'am Rhona. Ma'am Rhona is giving. Ano nga ba yun, ma'am? Giving
Ayan.
50% off para po sa darating na, this is on what date, ma'am?
October 14, 15, 29, 30. So 4 days po ito yung aming mastery on Philippine Compensation and Benefits. 4-day session po yan. Asynchronous learning po ito. So meron po tayo, we have the online session, we also have assignments, may mga offline seatworks din po kayong gagawin. So talagang para kayong pumasok sa eskwelahan, iisa-isahin po natin lahat ng mga kailangan nyo matutunan when it comes to Philippine Compensation and Benefits, including job evaluation, job analysis, lahat po yan, pag-aaralan po natin.
Kaya mga ka-HR, grab nyo na po ito. 15% off exclusively po this month para po sa ating mga ka-HR dito sa HR Calabarzon. Please use code HR Calabarzon 2021. O diba? Napaka-generous talaga ng ating speaker today. Nagbigay na ng napakadaming learning. Meron pang pa-discount para sa mga ka-HR natin. Ay, ulit. Okay.
Ay, nako, bawal po talagang mawala ang slide na yon. Syempre, di ba? So, balikan na. Happy birthday, syempre, from the Board of Directors, from our HR Calabarzon community, to our founder, Miss Nedy Estrella. Ayan. Thank you very much. Kasi kung wala si Ma'am Nedy, wala ang HR Calabarzon, di ba? So, thank you so much.
Dahil dyan, ma'am, dahil birthday ni founder, mamimigay po si Ma'am Jorina ng isang polo shirt ng HR Calabarzon. Ma'am Jorina, model naman po ang ating uniform.
Ako talaga ang model. O sige, ako nang magmamodel. Ayan, ito po ang ating HR Calabarzon t-shirt.
Yan. Mamimigay po tayo. Pwede po sa male and sa female dahil may stock po si Ma'am Jorina. Yan. Dahil dyan, ma'am, tawagin natin ang winners natin ng 3 liters of rosy coconut water. PM nyo lang po kami through our Facebook page para po makuha namin kung paano nyo makukuha ang ating rosy coconut waters. Hindi ko alam kung makikita. Ayan, kasi may background.
Ayan.
Hindi makita. So, congratulations to Miss Kimberly Gonzalez, Andrew Malubit, Robelyn Labonete, Erica Florendo Umali, Marvin Acosta Madlang Bayan, Mary Ann B. Marino, Edmundo A. Salvacion Jr., Christine M. Francisco, Stephanie Joy P. Alex, Pia Rose Bulawan, Ronaldin Evangelista, and Isabel Borja Navarro. Congratulations po! And next, we still have a winner. Congratulations po kay Ma'am Socorro C. Bolas for winning 500 worth of Tang Bertos gift certificate. Paki-PM message lang po kami para po ma-claim nyo po ang inyong prizes. And of course, additional book from one of our speaker and mentor, Mr. Michael Angelo Chua, ready to serve. Congratulations, Ma'am Kimberly Barsa. And, syempre, kung meron tayong pa-book na ni Sir Michael, meron tayong pa-Bluetooth ni PC Work. Congratulations, Ma'am Sheila G. Olguera. Please PM us sa Facebook page po natin. And last but not the least, ito yung gustong-gusto ko eh. Ma'am, 3 months, attend ka lang, mag-attendance ka lang. Makaka-avail na po kayo ng PE certificate and membership from HR Calabarzon. Congratulations, Ma'am Petruana B. Batangcolio, Batangjolo. And Ma'am Jorina, dahil natuto tayo ngayong araw na to. Talaga namang sa pool ako, hindi lang ako basta natuto, ma'am eh. Ako yung nag-chat nga yung staff ko eh. O ma'am, bawal daw magreklamo sa mga reklamador. Ano nga ako doon eh. Gusto ko sabihin, di ba ikaw yung nagre-reklamo? O di ba? Sapul na sapul kami, Ma'am Rhona, sa araw na to, sa talagang, ang dami pala talagang pagbabago from previous HR na ginagawa natin. Knowing nga, I've been with the HR practitioner as 15 years. Pero itong pandemic na to, talagang naging new normal, naging new outlook. Pero dahil po mas pinaliwanag niyo sa amin ang kahalagahan ng new normal and new outlook, ang HR Calabarzon po ay nagpapasalamat sa inyo. Ma'am Jorina, please do the honor.
Of course, HR Calabarzon presents the Certificate of Appreciation to Ms. Rhona Florentino for sharing her invaluable knowledge and expertise as a resource speaker for the 39th HR e-knowledge entitled HR New Normal, New Outlook via Zoom and Facebook Live at 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. given this 4th day of September 2021. Maraming salamat po talaga, Ma'am Rhona, on behalf of HR Calabarzon. Tamang-tama po talaga kami sa lahat ng mga sinabi mo.
Ayan. Thank you so much then for having me. And of course, anything that can help with the community, willing naman tayo dyan. Makibaka.
Ma'am Jorina, invite naman natin. Bumaba yata, nawalan yata sila ng internet. Ito yung problema sa new normal. Yung internet, nagyoloko, kaya nawawala yung ating ibang participant. We would like to request everyone to please open your video for our mandatory picture taking.
Okay, so please turn on your videos po. Yan. Smile.
Yan, mapasok pa yung iba, nag-open pa ng video. Sa mga nanalo po, huwag niyo pong kalimutang i-message kami kasi lalo na po yung Rosie, kami na lang po iinom nito.
Araw-araw coconut water.
Malilinis yung natin, mga digestive natin.
Lalakas ang immune system. Oh.
Yes.
Ayan.
Ma'am Jorina, nakaka-picture
Yes,
ka.
nag-i-screenshot din ako.
Next
Okay, smile.
Ma'am Jorina, next week, mas marami pang aabangan.
Yes, syempre, marami po talaga tayong aabangan next week. And of course,
Sabi nga ni
expected
Ma'am
po
Rhona,
na.
diba sabi ni Ma'am Rhona kanina, parang na-stress naman ako sa line-up ng speaker nyo.
Pressure ako eh. Mga kasunod ko, di ba? Ron Thomas, tapos si Miss Michelle. Diyos ko. ang stress level ko, ang taas, ang pressure.
Oo nga, ma'am, pero basta gulat naman kami talagang ang taas din, ma'am, ng stress level ng presentation mo this afternoon. Dahil talaga namang hindi ko talaga pinagsisisihan na ikaw ang isa sa aking mentor. Yan. So, muli po, iniimbitahan namin ang lahat na please, nakapost po sa ating page ang link for registration para po sa September 11 with Sir Ron Thomas. Sabi nga ni Ma'am Rhona, medyo nai-stress din po kami kasi bawal po mag-Tagalog next week. Because we have one of international speaker, Sir Ron Thomas, tackling strategic human resources, the future of profession. Patay tayo dyan. Ito na tayo. Next po is syempre September 18 with Ma'am Michelle Cordero Garcia, one of the best mentor speaker po ng Philippine HR Group dahil mahal na mahal po kami ni Sir Darwin at ng mga board of director ng Philippine HR Group. Ibinibigay at inirekomenda po nila sa atin ang magagaling na speaker mentor ng Philippine HR Group with one of this is Ma'am Michelle Cordero. Siyempre po ang topic po niya, how do you make strategic HR decision when everything is uncertain? Siyempre lalo na po ngayon, di ba? Wala na ngayong certain, lahat nagbabago-bago na eh. So, let's see the page. Nandun po yung link. Please do register. At syempre, surprise yung para sa September 25. Kasi sabi nga ni Ma'am Rhona, daagan siya sa September 25. Di ba? Talaga naman, ang HR Club person, dahil po ating first year anniversary, at syempre, sabi nga ni Ma'am Jorina, birthday ni Founder, so dapat kailangan pagandahin natin this year ang ating first year anniversary. Ma'am, meron ba po kayong gustong sabihin? Medyo mayroon lang tayong isang special guest na hindi nakarating kasi nagloko yung kanyang internet.
Yan. Ako po ay nagpapasalamat sa lahat po ng mga nandito sa room right now and for taking time to really listen to my talk. I hope may napulot po kayo dun sa ating mga na-discuss kanina. If ever you do have any questions, please feel free to get on my Facebook page, Rhona Florentino, CHRPCSSYB. Pwede po kayo mag-message doon and I will try my best to answer your questions. For those who are asking how to join the Mastery of Philippine Compensation and Benefits, yaan po ay punta po kayo sa Facebook page ng Uprush or email niyo po kami sa support@readyrightnow.com along with the discount code para po ma-assist namin kayo on how you can secure your slot. Again, thank you so much, Jorina and Neds, for having me here. And I do hope that lumaki pa lalo ang HR Calabarzon at makatulong pa tayo lalo sa HR community natin. Okay po.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Jorina.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Rhona.
Ma'am Jorina tuloy sabihin ko. Thank you so much, Ma'am Rhona, for this afternoon. Talagang full of learning. Talagang sulit na sulit yung 2 hours with you. And actually, we extended ours na. Pero, alam ko po sa mga ka-HR natin, hindi po tayo nagsisisi na nag-extend tayo. Pero, ipaalala ko lang po sa lahat, see you tomorrow para sa HR Kapit dahil maganda rin po ang ating topic. Gawin po nating masaya, kumpleto ang ating weekend afternoon habit. Muli po, paalala lang namin ang e-certificate rules po natin. Pwede bang dito na ako mag-request? Ma'am Rhona, would you like to share? Di ba na parang biglang bumait eh. Would you like to share the presentation materials to us?
Yes naman po. Sisend ko na lang po sa'yo.
Yes! O, di ba mga ka-HR? Ma'am Rhona will be sharing the presentation today. So, sa lahat po na nag-register, nag-attendance sa ating feedback form, please expect yung inyong presentation with your e-certificate next week, Saturday, that's September 11. Bago po matapos ang September 11, sigurado pong marireceive nyo ang inyong e-certificate. Pinapaalala lang po namin na kung maaari po sana ay paki-ensure na complete at accurate ang inyong full name, email address, reference number, and proof of payment. Ang link po ay ibinibigay o pinopost po namin sa FB group, FB page, FB live, and Zoom chat. Tandaan po natin, ang 50 pesos po ay good for 4 consecutive webinar in 1 month. At i-remind ko lang ulit po si Ma'am Sharon. Ma'am Sharon, nanalo po kayo buong buwan ng September. Hindi nyo po kailangang magbayad ng 50 pesos. Kasi talagang si Ma'am Sharon every month, consistent siyang attendee ng HR Calabarzon. So dahil po sa 50 pesos na itinutulong nyo po sa amin sa HR Calabarzon, patuloy po kami nakakapagbigay ng weekly free HRE knowledge mula po last year, September 5, hanggang ngayon po, September 4. Muli po, ang ating GCash number ay 0927-140-1360.
Ayan, paki-screenshot na lang po.
Okay. Ma'am Jorina, do you have any last word?
Ayun, so maraming salamat po sa ating lahat, sa buong HR community po dito sa HR Calabarzon, and syempre po kay Ma'am Rhona, and syempre kay Ma'am Neddy. Syempre, yan ang ating founder. Salamat at nakaabot din tayo ng 1 year. So, without din talaga ng 50 pesos nyo, hindi namin mabibigay itong HR free e-knowledge webinars namin. So, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. From the board of directors and from the co-founders and from all of the speakers that supported us. Maraming salamat po lahat.
Thank you po, Ma'am Rhona. Maraming salamat po sa lahat po na nag-attend today. Maraming salamat po. Muli po, pinapaalala ko sa lahat, meron po tayong 15% sa Uprash, meron po tayong 10% sa CPHR, meron po tayong 500 discount para sa Cleaning Genie. At syempre, magkakaroon pa po tayo ng additionals na mga benefits or mga parapol next week. So please, don't miss it. Muli po in behalf of HR Calabarzon founder, marami pong salamat at see you po next week. Goodbye po. Bye.
Bye-bye!
Afternoon. Sa lahat po ng nanalo, please PM us your address.
Sa Facebook page na lamang po. Ayan.
Ma'am Rhona, thank you.